cheering on your favorite team. RK Zero Proof lets you celebrate without compromise. Join the revolution at rkzeroproof.com. rkzeroproof.com.
The backseat. Check the backseat.
All right, come here.
Check the backseat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the backseat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over. Danced him. Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Good to do a crossover with you, gentlemen.
I know it's been quite a while.
The people are clamoring for it.
So did you tell people yesterday at the beginning of the show, like, hey, look, this is not live? Or did you fake it?
Josh did.
No, I figured there was no way around it, so I was straight up.
So
always be honest with the people.
Yeah.
So we
They can
played
tell.
our interview from the Hope Lodge with the people who were staying there at the Hope Lodge. We played that, and then Josh made a very funny graphic that was like, in a meeting, we'll be back around.
I saw that.
We saw the graphic.
So like the graphic.
It was very funny. So
good graphic.
So no, but now we're back. Now we're here. It's been like 5 days since we've done a crossover.
Last Thursday, I guess.
Yeah. So it's been
I
quite
forgot about the Friday aspect of it too. Yeah.
I thought about you, Connor Happer, this morning.
In the shower?
Was it Meat Man?
No.
Or Beef Man?
Beef Man.
We gotta.
What?
Do you have an
What?
opinion on this? Do you
Yeah.
think that his alternate persona,
Uh-huh.
when he goes into someone who doesn't believe in the concept of bread,
Or anything else besides meat?
should be known as Meat Man, Beef Man, Beef Boy? Which other ones were in there? Bacon
Man. Yeah, Bacon Man was pretty funny.
I think we should just call you Round Mound, but no rebound.
Okay, Round Mound.
The round mound of no rebound.
Now, Meat Man has the alliteration that you like in radio.
I think it's Beef Man.
Beef Man. I feel like you settled on Beef Man.
It cuts off some of the meat that you.
Yeah, but it's funny enough to make up for
Beef
it.
is the funniest.
I like.
of the word.
I like. You like Beef Man better than Meat Man?
I think it's funnier.
What if you were the bearded beef?
The beard? No, that's too creative.
It's got to end in man.
Yeah,
and it's got to be not creative.
That's too. Yeah, that's too creative.
Lack of creativity is kind of
It's kind of the joke.
You're trying to be the the dumbest thing you could possibly do.
I think Beef Man is perfect because Meat Man. I think.
All right,
that
good job, Sam. You figured it out. It's Beef Man.
You can get people making like dumb jokes with Meat Man. Like it can be taken like a different way.
I don't know that this
Beef Man
person is going to be taken serious in any way.
Yeah,
would you like to hear him talk?
Is this you? We're talking about.
Yeah.
It's me, Meat Man, Beef Man.
Jesus.
I like beef and only beef.
You guys were exactly right when you said that you already know a lot of things about where Beef Man stands
Yeah, exactly.
on the issues.
I
Not going to stop us from doing a full interview with Beef Man.
This is the dumbest thing.
That's the point.
This is one of the
Beef
dumbest
Man, do you have
things
any
done.
takes about the things that are going on in society right now?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, do I ever?
I'll tell you this right now. Beef Man ain't in Minnesota right now.
I know which halftime show he's watching.
Oh yeah, I am.
I already know Beef Man's Twitter profile picture. Sunglasses, selfie. Beef Man's got a.
And I think you like beef.
I think Beef Man definitely has like
that's
one of
right.
those.
Twitter profile picture.
What?
Sunglasses selfie.
Oh no!
Yeah, sunglasses. Are you in a car?
Are you in a car? Okay, then you're
that's
good.
fine.
Then you're good.
I'm
It's
on a
like
beach.
is the sun beating off of your forehead and
Dodged
making
a
the
real
glare
bullet there.
really, really bad? No? Okay, you're good. I think Beef Man is the type of guy, got a really long beard. He wears a lot of black hoodies, probably a black zip-up hoodie. He's got one of those like chains that it's not like a cross, but it's like something very like
We'll see what he becomes.
Yeah.
You know, he's
There could be a lot of depth to Beef Man. We don't know. We're gonna find out.
Do you not actually
I
believe
miss my sister. Maybe that's what Beef Man would say.
There's a secret tragedy in his past.
Yeah.
She was hit by a bread truck.
No.
And that's why I hate bread so much.
His sister's name is definitely like Maureen, you know?
Hey,
What?
what's so bad about that?
No, that's just like he definitely has a
That's
has
my
a sister.
grandmother's name.
Exactly. Exactly the point. That's an older woman's name. So his, I think
It's a
that's
family
An
name.
older sister
It's a
that got
family.
hit by the
younger
the bread
sister.
bread truck.
No. His baby sister got hit by the bread truck.
Oh.
His baby sister.
All right, what were you thinking about me?
I wake up at 6:45 in the morning.
Wow,
And then I have this weird
that's early.
like in between from like 6:45 to about like 7:45 where I'm like half asleep, half awake. Like I'm just like
Wasted an entire hour.
yes, I'm just dozing in and out, okay? And
Interesting.
it's like I have like my brain is not awake and I'm not fully functional, but yet I'm having thoughts. And some of these thoughts are like really, really dumb. Like a question I came up with while I was in between the sleep cycle was like, what would you rather have? Like, would you rather be given a vacation for 7 days to just go on a cruise fully paid for right now? Or would you rather have 1 week where you can go back to your high school days and like live in high school for a week with all the knowledge you have?
I go time machine.
Okay. But then you have to come back. You come back
That's
to your
great.
reality.
That's the best part.
So, but when you go back
You have
for
to
the
stay in
week,
high school. That'd be horrible.
well, you get to like relive. You get 10 years.
do you
back,
get to pick
essentially.
the week that you're going back for, or you dropped into any week?
You
Oh, wait, you get
oh.
10 years back?
no. You don't get 10 years back.
You
If
just have to come straight back to your current
Yeah,
body.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just go.
That's great. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Is there a
Yeah.
butterfly effect here?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Can you change things?
Here's
Yeah.
the thing.
When you
I
start throwing these scenarios,
Yeah.
I'm going to have a lot of questions.
I didn't. Here's the thing. I didn't start going that far. I would say, in my mind, I was just thinking random week. You just get dropped in a random.
Sure.
You don't get to pick. You're just dropped in that week.
Well, you could
And
still
then-
do a lot of damage in a week.
Yeah.
Now,
think
is
it would
there a
be-
butterfly effect? I think there has to be a butterfly effect.
Oh.
I think it'd be comically more hilarious if you can't go into your body, but instead you have to watch as this like outside being. You watch that week unfold, and you can't change.
You can't do
anything.
anything? That's like a prison.
that is torture.
It
That
would
would
be
be
amazing.
torturous. No, it wouldn't.
You would be watching high
Ooh,
school version of
ooh,
yourself
no.
making the dumbest decision possible.
I would not.
and then forced to relive it.
By the way,
That'd be hell.
it'd be
every time I
awful.
see this Applebee's OM cheeseburger,
Yeah, it looks
Get
really
that
good.
get that crap out of there.
I almost gag and throw up.
It looks
It
great.
just- It upsets my stomach.
Why are we dousing a burger in cheese and a pie? And a
It's
pot of
already a
cheese?
cheeseburger.
It's already a
Disgusting.
cheeseburger.
Beef man just wants more beef.
You
Yeah,
think,
beef man is like, get this cheese out of here.
you think that watching your high school self like out of body would be fun?
No, it'd
he
be
said it would be
awful.
horrible.
It would be
Yeah.
terrible. It would
It'd be
the worst.
hilarious though, like watching you navigate.
No,
things.
it would not be
poorly.
funny. I would be Coop in Interstellar in the bookcases.
The physical embodiment of having to hear your own voice when you don't enjoy that.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah, but like your 18-year-old
Oh
voice.
God, no.
I don't
God,
even
no.
mean your 18-year-old voice. Like
Well,
I
not
listen
long
back
for-
on interviews and it's like I don't want to hear my part of it. I want to somehow skip right
I'm-
to the answer.
I'm going to
of
be
what
honest
they're
with you.
saying.
I'm
Radio
Samuel.
guys don't care about
I'm-
that, Schaefer.
I'm
You
saying
better become a radio guy.
I'm
quick.
Samuel L. Jackson. I love rewatching my stuff. I love going back.
Matt loves himself.
I do. You have to love yourself. Who's going to love you for you?
That's what Haley Steinfeld said in that one
Exactly.
song.
But that was a little different.
Mhm.
I think she was talking about a
She was
different
definitely talking about
scenarios.
something else.
Yeah. What do you mean definitely? She was. She's admitted it.
So I said definitely.
I know.
That's what that word means.
God, I love Haley Steinfeld. It's so disappointing. I'll just say this because it's not weird.
Did Matt just learn a new word again?
I think,
Definitely.
What do you mean definitely? Definitely. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
But I mean, you say it was like, oh, definitely. No, I mean, it's confirmed.
No. I know what she was talking about.
Definitely
She was
is
definitely talking about
a
that.
form of confirmation. Yeah.
Haley Steinfeld in Pitch Perfect 2 was my childhood crush.
That happened when you were a child.
Yeah. Well, I was like 11.
When did the movie come out? Like 2020?
Man,
No. no.
how old was Matt when my childhood crush of
2015.
Winnie Cooper would have
14.
been formed? You would have been -8 years old, -9
Oh.
years old, somewhere in there. Do you even know
He has no clue who Winnie Cooper is.
No.
What about Topanga? You know about Topanga?
Yeah, she was on Dancing with the Stars this
Damn
year.
it.
That's right. She was.
What about Kelly Kapowski?
Oh, I learned who Carmen
is
Electra
so
was in The Last Dance.
This is so wild. To me.
She was a pretty big deal back
Whoa,
then.
yeah, she's got big deals.
It shouldn't be wild. It absolutely has no reason to.
So
be
we're not
wild,
going to
but
talk about this on this crossover because it's better for the afternoon crossover. We'll tell you when we get off the air. Josh knows what I'm talking about.
He's already hinted that there's a banger. Of
Yeah,
a
he says
topic.
you guys got a good topic.
I found
And
out
so you're not.
I found out something historical yesterday that apparently was a big deal that I had no idea was a thing.
Oh no!
Like
I don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Apparently it was a really, really big deal, and I was like,
on
what?
just the date.
No.
Matt finds out about 9/11.
He learned a human existed yesterday that everyone in this room and everyone listening to this radio station knows.
That he thought didn't
I-
exist.
he-
or
he-
wasn't real.
I didn't
He
even
didn't
know.
know.
I
He
didn't
didn't
even
know.
know they existed.
Yeah.
I've
Okay,
often
this is
had
horrible.
I've often had this like hypothetical thought of, is there something that exists, like whether it's a movie or a TV show or a musician, that I have absolutely no idea who they are, and they are unbelievably popular or well known.
Yeah, this
Would fall
It
in that
wouldn't be
category.
surprising if one of those snuck by you.
Maybe musician, but even then, like, I still would likely have heard the name because I consume pop culture.
I'll just say this.
Like, I'm talking about stone cold.
Yeah.
You don't even have an idea that this is a thing.
Yeah, tough.
I was shell shocked when I discovered what like
That a person existed.
it's. You'll find out. You'll find out. What are you looking
I
at?
was trying to see if Josh was looking up the person.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
I
No,
won't say anything.
no,
I
no,
won't
no,
say
no.
anything. I promise. I won't say anything. I won't say anything.
This isn't
I just
Wacky
want-
Guess Wednesday.
Quick reaction.
Okay,
Just
go
quick
ahead.
reaction.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm saving mine for after the show.
Whoa.
Unless I like look between the windows.
Wow.
Had no idea.
I did not see that one coming. What do you mean didn't exist?
Had no idea that was a thing at all.
What was this person's contribution to society that he would know about? I'm actually kind of on Matt's side on this
Had
one.
had no idea.
Now I'm just
Wait,
had
you don't-
nothing. Had literally.
You
so,
never heard the name?
No.
Oh my God.
No.
All right.
No.
Please. I'm sorry. But I will be listening at 1:45.
It was they have some sort of social medium, occurring soon, and I was like, whoa, and then yeah, we'll save it for 1 o'clock, but I had no clue.
That is surprising.
It's a good one, America.
yeah. That is surprising.
So going back to yesterday's
Dear
crossover,
God.
which I happened to check into,
Sure.
and I had to go back to the start because I wanted to see how we got to where we were. Do you still follow this account where you don't get to see the dog
Okay,
anymore?
great question. We didn't get to the point. Yes, I did.
You know about the most random stuff of all time, and you don't know about that?
That
No.
human's existence.
No, here Connor's crossover
I can't
is
stop.
ruined.
I can't stop
It's
thinking about it.
ruined.
All
It's
right.
ruined.
Sorry.
That's why I don't want to find out until after.
Great
I-
question. Great question.
I do, and the guys on the cross, like sometimes they just don't let me get to the point. The point is that I still follow some people on Instagram because they make me angry.
Which
Like
I don't understand that either.
they just kind of they annoy me and they boil my blood a little bit. They don't
Why do
get,
people listen to Colin
they
Cowherd?
don't get me really mad. Like they
I
don't
barely
make me
follow
mad.
anyone on Instagram.
But they kind of boil my blood a little bit, but then I'm like, all right, you got to keep me honest. Like that's fine. Like it's not a bad feeling. So yes, I still follow this person, but it does make me a little mad that they've exposed their dog for fame because they took their dog and they happened to be attractive, and then they were like, oh, follow me because of my dog, and then everyone found out they were attractive, and now it's just they're posting a bunch of
do you think
pictures that have
set
nothing
out,
to do with the dog.
Butt pics.
Yeah, basically.
Did this person set out to have an account where they were going to use their dog to then become attractive?
I don't think they set out to do that, but I think they kind of struck when the iron was hot. And so part of me is like, what else? Like, can I? They changed their own lives, right? They've made a lot of money. They're like, their lives is infinitely better because of it. So I can't fully blame them for doing that.
I don't
It just
understand how
does kind
someone
of
makes a lot
frustrate
of
me.
money by posting dog content and then
So this dog, if I showed you this dog,
cliques.
it is straight out of a Hallmark movie. Like it is the cutest,
Yeah, I mean,
most
you
well
said that.
behaved, like
What you
nicest.
described as largely 90% of the world's golden retriever.
And like I will give her credit. She took good care of this dog.
Well, you don't know.
Well, you can kind of. It was a happy dog. Like it was well groomed.
Again,
like, it looked
you
healthy.
only have a snippet of their life.
That's a good point. But at least
The
from
dog
the
could have been
snippet.
miserable.
Well, now the
Could've been
dog is miserable because she's
could've been
always leaving.
The
it.
dog might
Oh,
enjoy
no.
it more that she's gone.
Maybe.
Dogs on
The
Instagram.
dog could have been
Maybe.
a child actor
Maybe.
where you only know what's happening on the screen.
Can we get the dog on for Wacky Guess Wednesday?
I'm in talks with the dog's people.
Dogs on social media mess me up, man.
Why?
Well, because it
Because Connor doesn't like dogs, but then on social media he does like them.
no. It's the exact opposite.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's the exact opposite. I don't want to see them on social media. I actually like hanging out with dogs.
That is not the version of you that existed 10 years
You
ago.
know about my relationship with our dearly departed Slider.
Yeah, no, you and
I
Slider
love
were friends.
Slider.
Yeah.
We are dear friends. He would come up to me and he would
was Slider your dog?
put his
Yeah.
little
Okay.
snout on my
Golden
arm.
retriever.
Oh,
You know, things like that. What a great dog. Now, I don't like to have their hairs on me or anything. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to own
I know.
one
I
or
know.
anything like that. But I definitely don't care about them on Instagram.
see,
I don't know what I want on Instagram, to be honest with you. I just kind of take whatever they give me.
Instagram for me, I definitely follow less and less people who are like popular on Instagram now. Like I've definitely cleared out the cachet of like influencers and people and like famous people and everything like that. Like my Instagram over the last 6 months has become a lot more local than it's become.
Local gram.
Yeah, local gram as opposed to like now I used to follow I still do follow a lot of fitness accounts or nutritional accounts. Those are helpful.
Fitness.
That's like fun. Like that's improved my life, I think. Because they're like, oh, that's a good workout, or like, oh, that's motivating, or that's a good meal, or that's something I can cook.
There's an account that I've come across on Instagram that like they just do local food reviews.
See, I think that's sick.
and
that's great.
that is the sort of stuff that I probably have more interest in than genuinely my own friends' photos of their family.
You rather
Well, it's news you can use. I can't use any news
you
about your
rather
kid.
you rather find out about there's good places to eat as opposed to finding out that Steve's kid is really cute.
I don't use Instagram that often. So when
Okay.
I do, the purpose of it is to kill like 5 minutes of time.
I use Instagram.
And there's a
too
good
much.
chance that anything that appears on Instagram I may have seen somewhere else already or whatever. So, you know.
You're also learning the
Aggregators.
area still.
Yeah, that's true.
I
But I was following this account before I even moved over here.
Follow a lot of sandwiches on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. A lot of mine is food recipes. Like
a lot of beef.
No, sandwiches with the bread. It's just me.
I want to get a pizza oven, and I follow a lot of pizza oven accounts.
Oh, dude, crispy pizza. That
Is that
New
an
York,
account?
yeah. Oh, that's great. I'm all over the Cat's Deli YouTube algorithm right now.
What a place.
Every time I'm on YouTube, there's some sort of in-depth Katz's Deli, behind the scenes.
I saw Adam
I
Richmond's
heard
review
it.
the other day.
I heard cat as in like the
Cats.
animal, and then
Catses.
cats like
Yeah.
plural of the feline cats and delis. And I was like, what is this a thing?
That would be
Zoos
I don't
are
want
tough.
cats near delis.
Exactly.
Keep them away from protect the delis.
Protect.
at all
But if you
costs.
change
If I'm
one
elected,
letter,
if I'm elected as mayor of this town,
We will
I will
protect the
ensure
deli.
that the cats are not by the deli.
First of all, keep Tyler Hansborough out of the town. Second of all, keep the cats away from the deli.
Tyler Hansborough, is he dead to you?
He's the guy who doesn't like bread, which prompted the whole like.
Is he dead
beef
to us?
thing.
Are we saying Tyler Hansborough's dead to
not
us?
necessarily.
Okay.
We just don't want him in the
Yeah.
town where he
Okay.
can affect the deli.
We have a list. So
He
if
was
anybody,
never alive to me.
if there was anybody ever dead to you guys and dead to us as a collective, we can put him on the list.
Okay.
The dead to us.
Yeah, we'll let you know if we come up with
I don't know
anybody.
that we
Yeah.
have anybody.
We have Albert Breer.
I mean, I went
Connor
pretty hard on the
Stallion.
city of St.
did
Louis.
Albert
Can they
Breer
be
do
on
to
the
you?
list?
He denied my interview request. So
He's
Dead.
dead to you.
dead to us. Alex Core is on the list.
What if one day Albert Breer was like, "Hey, sorry, I missed this. I was busy. I would love to come on." your
Denied
show."
it how?
We'll remove him.
You can't unkill him.
Yeah, we can undead to him. Yeah. You don't make the rules of the dead to us list.
I
The
mean,
dead to
if
us
you're
list is
dead,
our
you
bit.
are
This
dead.
does feel like the Billy Madison, Steve Buscemi scene, and where he's like calls and makes his amends, and he crosses.
Glad
them
I
off.
called that guy.
I'll say that Albert Breer is probably the only person on the dead to us list that can come off the dead to us list. Everybody else,
Was he mean about the rejection?
no, he just
Albert Breer is immortal.
he can come back. everybody else is there's no
The whole thing
path.
about being dead.
What is dead may
it.
never die.
Yeah, everybody else's path is cut off. Chris Sims can't come back. The flu is not coming back. Puxatawny Phil is dead. Okay?
No, he's alive, dude.
No, he's dead to us though.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, back to my original point of the whole
There was a point.
dream thing. I was dreaming and I thought of you.
Oh, you never even said that?
Because you have a
Wow.
dream, because you have your dream journal.
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna do a little coaching here. Get to the point.
Yeah. Hurry up. Otherwise, we might get distracted and talk about something else.
I had a dream of an alternate Toy Story plot, an alternate Toy Story song today during my.
Did you write it down?
Dozing in and out. No, I didn't write it down, but it's seared into my brain.
There's a new one coming out this year. Maybe you can get it to them real
basically,
quick,
it's
and they
like
can slide it
Al's Toy Barn basically frames Buzz Lightyear as like causing a train accident.
Okay,
and then
good bit.
And they break into a great song called "Blame It on the Guy in Green."
Whoa.
And then
Okay.
Is there a little
and
dance
then-
number to
and there's
this
a
thing?
dance number
Sure.
too of
Yeah.
like, and then all of a sudden like Woody's in the dance number and he doesn't know why he's in the dance number and he's fighting about like his internal instincts is to be happy that Buzz committed.
That's
this
pretty
crime.
good. You might be further down the line than Con Air 2 to Moon at this point.
Is that a dream you came up with?
No, that's not a dream. That is our dream.
That's a movie, a screenplay we fleshed out on the air one day.
Okay. I've actually in my head created a 4-season apocalyptic movie based in central Nebraska.
You're like Michael Scott.
Is it called Children of the Corn?
No, I haven't decided what the title of the movie is.
Haven't landed on a title. That's fine.
But basically, it's like
Is it The Stand? Because these are all like been done.
basically it starts in Lincoln and then moves to central Nebraska when the apocalypse happens, and then there's like it's about a bunch of college kids, and it's an intertwining like different lifestyles and people trying to get back to their families.
Shout out to all of our friends in Central Nebraska. We love Central Nebraska.
We love Central Nebraska
folks.
We do love Central Nebraska folks. So that's all my screenplays are in my head though. None of them are written down.
Yeah.
I think that's true for most people.
Yeah.
All
Unless
the
you're Michael
novels
Scott.
I've ever written are in my head.
But I'm not gonna get rid of that Toy Story subplot that I came up with.
That's
That will
pretty
be
good.
in my brain forever.
I don't even remember. So what are we on now, Josh? Are we on 5?
5 is coming out this
I don't
year,
remember what
yes.
happened in 4, 3, or 2.
Well,
Whoa.
Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 is like the perfect 3 movies. Like the perfect trilogy, in my opinion. I think
Which is the one with the Andy? Andy's the kid, right? He goes to college.
that's 3.
right. Mhm.
Okay, I saw that one.
That was the perfect. That to me, Toy Story is like the perfect trilogy. 1 establishes it. 2 is like a fun movie, right? That is like very entertaining. That like you get stressed about and cool things happen. And then 3 brings them all together.
Back in my day, I couldn't have dreamed that Toy Story was going to be a trilogy or 5. I just thought it was Toy Story. Same thing with Lion King. I just thought it was Lion King.
Toy Story.
And then they started coming out with more movies.
Well,
That's what they do. It's successful, they make more.
it worked.
Toy Story
Happer
2,
and
though,
Schaefer successful, they make more.
Happer and
It's-
Schaefer too.
It's one of those things though where it's like if the second movie's bad, you're done. Like nobody like I didn't know there
I
was.
don't think that's true.
I don't think I did. I had
Hangover
no,
2 was horrible.
I had
Ocean's
I
12.
had no idea there was a Lion King 2 until like I was in my teens. I had no I didn't know that there was an Aladdin 2. And then I think there's an Aladdin 3. Isn't there like the return of
that until
Jafar?
just now.
And then they made Aladdin and the 40 Thieves, which isn't even I don't even think is Aladdin in the 40 Thieves? I think you find out like who Aladdin's dad is.
Somebody told me recently that, we've been watching Moana and Moana 2 just incessantly. Somebody recently told me that Moana 2 wasn't very good. Like, we don't talk about Moana 2. And I'm like, I don't mind Moana 2.
I never saw Moana.
Moana rocks.
Still haven't watched Moana.
Yeah.
Moana's
Moana's
pretty good.
Yeah, Moana rocks.
I have the extended deluxe edition of the Moana soundtrack with songs that were taken out of the movie that were going to be in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
What are those like?
They're good. Warrior Face is one of them, where it's like
Seems
Warrior
risky.
Face. Warrior
I
Face.
see why it was taken out.
Well, no,
Beef
what
Man
do
would
you
have a
mean?
bunch of takes about that.
Beef Man
It's-
thinks
how
Warrior
is-
Face
how is
is
that-
reserved for something else.
Guys, it was about being confident and ready to face battle.
Of course it was.
Oh.
That's
It
what
was
Beef
a
Man thinks
metaphor.
too.
And then there's the song that was supposed to like Where I'll Go, like that
Yeah,
song.
How
there
Far
was
I'll Go.
How
Yeah.
Far I'll Go.
Mhm.
There was another song they wrote instead of that you didn't need both more. It was called More. There's always more. There's got to be more. I know there's more.
Wow.
It's a great song, but you don't have How Far I'll Go and more.
You're a show tunes guy. I heard your little bit yesterday about acting in the Groundhog Day.
That's
it's not a bit.
Was going to bring up if you hadn't heard
that occurred.
I mean, it's not. Yeah,
I was in.
And you were unbelievably Ned Ryerson.
Yeah, I was great. I killed it. I even was reciting lines.
I know. I heard them. I was listening to the show.
I was also. We also adapted Shawshank Redemption into a school play, and I was the young guy that got shot and killed.
Tommy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
that's a good part for you.
That's where I won.
You look like you could be a greaser.
Who was the warden? Capped your ass.
No, Ethan. Or no, it was Nick something. I forgot his name. He was a great.
Can we
guy.
get him on the show?
Yeah,
he was a great dude. Nick something.
Wacky Guess Wednesday. Write it down.
He was awesome, dude. Like some of the coolest guys that I hung out with in high school were a part of like the Notre Dame acting group.
The
like
Thespians?
We were called the Jugglers, and they were they were fun. They were a good time. I drank my first beers with the Notre Dame Jugglers. They like brought me out to a party, and I was
This
16.
is good context.
They were
for your life.
They were all seniors. They were all seniors,
and I was absolutely no judgment.
They were all seniors, and I was a sophomore. They brought me out to my first party.
All right,
that was fun.
Nice. No, this is good information.
And then I got my butt whooped by my mother. She got mad at me.
Can't be out hanging out with thespians all night.
Yeah.
Stop calling them thespians.
That's what they are.
The Notre Dame prep.
You think it sounds better if you called them jugglers?
Yeah.
I was hanging out with the jugglers last night.
What's going on at Notre Dame prep?
It just says teacher. It doesn't say what they teach.
Pick a random one.
Which is
pick a random teacher.
Hard. Dr. Michael Fish.
About Dr. Fish?
I don't know Dr.
This is gonna be great.
Dr.
You're gonna name
Pamela
like
Fish.
5, and Matt's gonna be like, I don't know.
Pick another one. Pick another one. Pick another one. You got to go to the actual teachers. If you go to the business, school, I'm not gonna know the business.
Ms. Rachel Hayden.
Nope, don't know her.
She looks pretty young. Now this is the Notre Dame prep in Niles, Illinois.
Yeah, it's in Niles.
Okay, Mr. Shea Boyle.
Hey, that's my guy. That's my guy.
What did he do?
He's the president of the school. He recruited me to go to Notre Dame.
Did he recruit you to be in Groundhog Day the musical?
No.
You recruit people to go to school in Chicago?
He's a Catholic.
Niles.
You got recruited to go to
Schaefer, you live in Omaha now. Get used to it.
Yeah.
Recruiting, baby.
ABC.
Where I grew up, there was 3 schools. And you only went if you were Catholic to the Catholic school. You went to the public school if you were everyone else, and if you were a farm kid, you went to.
So my brother went to public school and didn't get into Loyola Academy, which was a Catholic school, which is kind of hard to go from public to Catholic, like from grade school to high school. At least back in the day it was. And so Shea would like look at the people who didn't get into Loyola and try and get them to go to Notre Dame. And so Shea recruited my brother, and my brother went to school there and loved it. And
there you go.
So he got me there. But he's awesome. He's very good at his job.
You're very successful,
Shea Boyle's
bro.
a guy. They aren't. I mean, they've had a ton of success at that school because of his leadership. He's great at his job.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Give him an award.
I'm a strong alumni. I can't wait to make enough money to donate to my high school.
Gonna have to get a different job.
That's the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Middays with Matt is up next.
Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone.
I need a Trey Taylor memoir at the end of this thing. Here's what I thought about on my drive.
Do you think I should send him a list of audiobooks that he might enjoy?
I think you should.
Or podcasts?
Harry Potter.
Maybe he'll listen to our show. He can pick it up at the river.
We'll be on at the
We
time he
will be
leaves,
on,
probably. Assuming he doesn't have to get there that early.
Happer and Schaefer, weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone. Weather from KETV Newswatch 7 is brought to you on 1620 The Zone by Certified Transmission.
Small chance for spotty light snow and freezing drizzle Tuesday morning, though most stay dry. Otherwise, expect cloudy, chilly conditions with highs in the low to mid-30s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
At Remodel, Nebraska, we've been told that we're pretty good at what we do. But don't believe me, believe the customers. After we gave a down payment to a sunroom company,
They flat out dropped the ball. We contacted Remodel Nebraska. We met with Jack, and he told us that he would work hard to earn our trust. And we have to admit, Jack and the crew, they all did a great job.
Go to remodel-ne.com and schedule a free estimate.
Remodel Nebraska.
Since this is a radio commercial, you can't see the people standing behind me. They're the Langfeld family. Everybody wave. Oh, sorry. You can't see them because radio. Anyway, the Langfelds are the family behind Langfeld Overhead Door, where they proudly install Midland garage doors to fit any space and style. And they don't take a backseat to anyone when it comes to their service. Because if something goes wrong, it's their name on the line. So they're going to make sure it goes right every single time. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
Millions of people move every year for all kinds of reasons. Could be a new job, growing family, or just the need to start fresh. Whatever it is, when that time comes, it helps to go with a company that you can trust. That's where Penske Truck Rental comes in. Their trucks are clean, newer, well-maintained, so you're starting your move with equipment that you can count on. Penske is also the only one that gives you free unlimited miles on one-way rentals. So if your plans shift or you take a detour, there's no extra cost for the extra miles. They won't even charge you for updating your reservation. Penske gets it. Life changes and your plans do as well. They've got you covered. Over 2,500 locations. Support around the clock. Real people who actually answer the phone. Great people to deal with. Penske helps you gain ground like no other company can. Go to PenskeTruckRental.com or download the Penske Truck Rental app and find what you need today. Are you one of the 7% of adults in the United States who are searching for an alternative to sleeping in a bed? Then let me introduce you to Z-Cliner, the revolutionary recliner designed by FlexSteel. The Z-Cliner, meticulously engineered with restful sleep in mind, making it an ideal bed alternative. A healthy life starts with a healthy night's sleep. Z-Cliner is more than just a recliner. It's a personalized comfort experience. It features multiple power adjustments like recline, headrest, lumbar, zero gravity, reducing pressure on your body, tech integrations like charging ports for easy modern living. We know life can be messy, stressful. That's why Z-Cliner is upholstered in a moisture and stain-resistant fabric. Perfect for all-day enjoyment, even homes with pets and kids. Z-Cliner, a complete sleep solution. Get started. Unmatched comfort. ZCliner.com/Dan Patrick today to find a Z-Cliner at a store near you. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. And when anything can happen during the Super Bowl, DraftKings has your back with an early exit. If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid out in cash immediately once your bet settles. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code Patrick. Code Patrick to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit CC.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people. Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call. Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt, live on 1620 The Zone. Matt McMaster, joined by Josh Odson here on a Tuesday. at 1620 of his own studio. It's going to be a fun one today. Got a lot to talk about this fine Tuesday morning that will go into the afternoon for the next couple of hours. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is when we'll be here, and then we'll lead into the crossover with unsportsmanlike conduct. It is Super Bowl week.
People forget.
People do forget. This is the odd kind of in between of okay, yesterday was the kickoff event, which I wonder, I don't know if we're going to get a rating for that program. Like, I don't know if we're going to find out how many people actually tune in to that thing and watch that thing. I imagine, though, it's probably higher than most people think. I feel like
I think pretty low.
You think it's pretty low?
Yeah.
I think it's great background. I think it's like the awesome, like a really good. So I think the best. Everyone has two TVs nowadays. I feel like it's kind of standard practices that if you are someone who loves sports and you have the means, that you want to invest in a second TV, right? Put two different games on at once. Now that if you're lucky enough to have YouTube TV and can do the multi-view and the quad box, it's just it's a great apparatus. I think multi-view is one of the greatest inventions in television history. I mean, it's incredible. I think golf is the greatest TV to use.
Okay.
If you're going,
sound is very not important.
Don't need to hear
time.
Jim Nantz. Don't need to hear Vern. Don't need to hear Faldo. I really don't. I can mute it. And this is, by the way, if you're going no quad boxes. If you're just going straight up, one channel on each. You put the game that you're really invested in on TV one, and then on the second TV, you put golf. Because you can just look to the left and just be like, oh, okay. Koepka, that's a nice shot. Oh, Jake Knapp, hell of a drive. Justin Rose, awesome win at the Farmers Insurance Open over the weekend. I mean, he dominated that entire time. That's perfect TV2 apparatus. I think, though, the Super Bowl kind of kickoff is also a great TV2 apparatus because when your main thing is in a commercial, you can just unmute, right?
Okay.
And just be like,
okay. I was wondering how you were going to do that.
Hey,
okay.
Mike Vrabel's talking. Oh, what does Vrabel have to say? Oh, Goodell is okay. Actually, maybe I'm going to mute TV1 for 2 seconds to hear this one answer from Roger Goodell. Oh, Drake May is talking.
Oh, Will Compton's desperate for attention.
I think so. Basically revealed in that video of them. I don't even, if I'm being honest with you, I frankly don't even. Oh, they talked about him cutting off his lower body part. Yes, they talked about the very low hanging appendage, if you will, that Mike Vrabel said that he would get rid of if he were to win the Super Bowl. They did reveal in that. I guess they're going to interview him today, so I'm sure we'll get a bunch of. Bussin' with the Boys is the classic. I don't watch the full podcast, but I watch about 8 clips from every episode because they just pop up on Twitter, and you get a nice chuckle out of me. And then I'm like, okay, moving on. So I guess they're interviewing him today. So congrats to Will and all that. But what I was going to say is that it's just a great TV2 apparatus. You just unmute it, mute, unmute it, mute, Oh, okay, they're at the panel with a bunch of people that I don't really care about. Mute. Maurice Jones-Drew, by the way,
MJD,
has become like now a long-standing panelist for like football. I feel like his career at this point, being a panelist, probably has gone longer than his actual football playing career.
Yeah, probably.
Like Maurice Jones-Drew to like this new generation of football fan probably is like, you're going to have to remind him, hey, back in Jacksonville, that dude, he was a first round draft pick in fantasy. He was a legitimate guy. And then he like kind of held out weirdly for a good portion of training camp and then never really returned to full form. Anyway, no one's keeping score of how Maurice Jones-Drew played on very average to bad Jacksonville teams when you were younger. But when he's on a panel, I don't really care. That's the point. Anyway, Roger Goodell talked yesterday at the Super Bowl kickoff.
Raj.
I like, man. Is it a hot take to say that he's growing on me?
Okay, so let me peel the curtain back a little bit.
Go ahead.
You texted me some topics and questions and conversation bits, and that was in there. And immediately I went, "Oh my gosh, no! What a stupid!" And then I thought about it for like 30 seconds, and I went, "Yeah,
He's kind of
not even close.
Not even remotely close. And we're going to, okay, so this is what Inside Baseball here. I'll just tell you what the topic is going to be. Josh and I are going to rank the 4 commissioners in pro sports in America.
Whoa.
All right. We're going to give you our who
Love
is on the bottom,
stuff.
who is at the top. We're going to talk about, because Roger Goodell, I love this. This is like the State of the Union interview every year at the Super Bowl between Roger Goodell and a bunch of these reporters. And basically it's an open forum. Okay. To like ask Roger Goodell whatever the hell you want. And these reporters seem at times like cream of the crop. Like they do not care. They're going to ask Roger Goodell what they want to ask Roger Goodell, and he's going to have to answer it. And so you get a lot of interesting answers, and you know, he kind of peels back the curtain as to what is important to the league right now and everything. I always enjoy listening to that press conference. We'll talk about some of those things in there, but then after that, because there are some important things that he talked about that I'm a fan of and I'm not a fan of, we'll then also rank the 4 commissioners in pro sports, because I'm not going to spoil who's my number 1, but it's interesting. And also too, it'd be so wild to like maybe find an article in like 2017 of those rankings and see how they flipped. Because I'll tell you right now, the guy who was 4th on my list not too long ago was probably number 1 on a lot of people's list. If you know, you know. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Super Bowl. We'll talk about the Super Bowl press conferences. We'll talk about Roger Goodell. We'll also talk about, we didn't do it yesterday, our favorite Super Bowl bets. I think this is a fun topic. 402-951-1620 is the number, by the way. That's the Prairie Flower Casino hotline if you want to get in on any conversation we have. It's also our number to text, 402-951-1620. Text us and email us at the Equitable Bank inbox, Matt at 1620 Zone, Josh O at 1620 Zone. What are your favorite Super Bowl prop bets? I think it reveals a lot about a person. What their favorite random ass thing to bet on is at the Super Bowl. The thing that you would... That happens like there's a coin toss and a national anthem at every game that we play in the NFL. At the same time, we only ever bet on one coin toss and one national anthem and one Gatorade pouring, and that's at the Super Bowl, which I think makes it such a spectacle. So we'll talk about our favorite bets and maybe best stories of those Super Bowl prop bets. We also got some local things to talk about. There's some power rankings released on college basketball. We'll tell you where Nebraska ranks in those power rankings after falling from number 5 to number 9 in the AP poll. I'm very disappointed. I'm not mad.
I'm sorry.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'll try and be better.
It's a Tuesday with football season's over. Okay. And we have just a really crappy college basketball slate. That should not be the case.
I looked up the what to, I did the what to watch during the crossover this morning. Spoiler alert.
It's awful.
Where's the games?
It's awful.
What happened to Big Monday? What happened to Big Tuesday?
Super Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was telling you that Tuesday was my favorite day of the week. It was competing to be it was not my favorite day of the week, but rising up my day of the week rankings.
And it's not just, it's a crap slate. It just didn't pan out the way the schedule makers thought. Like, there's just not a lot of games.
No one's playing. You got Xavier, UConn. Who cares? Okay. UConn's a 17.5-point favorite. That game is not interesting to me. You have BC Duke. Ugh, I'm going to throw up.
I did not include that.
Duke is going to win that game by 40. You got Mississippi, Tennessee. Mississippi has been an absolute mess. Which, shocker, another team that AJ Storrs on is having a terrible season. Talk about a fall from grace. That guy, remember, he played in Lincoln 2 seasons ago, watching him play. I was at the press box, and I was like, that's an NBA guy. Like, that's a dude. And I didn't really know the mock drafts at the time. So I look at him, and I go, that's an NBA guy. Then you go to the mock drafts, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm right. Like, he's mocked to go number 16. He's mocked to be on the borderline of being a lottery pick. Then he goes to Kansas, absolutely terrible season. Now he goes to Ole Miss. I mean, they're terrible again. So it's just not working out for Chris Beard over there for the Rebels. So they play Tennessee tonight. That is going to be a wildly uninteresting contest between those two. St. John's DePaul. I'm sorry. I'm glad that DePaul is having an uncharacteristically average season this year. I don't care. Pitt versus UVA. Not going to watch that. Pitt is under 500 this season. And then you have 21-1 SLU taking on the 13-8 Davidson. So the one game that I might watch that I'm like, okay, I can get down with this is Miami of Ohio versus Buffalo. That's an ESPN Plus.
It's not even on one of the main networks. You have to go and stream it. It's ridiculous. This should not be a thing. We should not be in the like football season's over and we have a bad Tuesday slate.
It's your time, basketball.
It's unacceptable. And tomorrow's slate, by the way, I'll just spoil it for you, ain't really that much better.
Oh, no.
It really isn't. The only game that's worth watching is UCF versus Houston. And that might be a pretty good game. Houston's at home. I don't know what the slate and the line is going to be for that game. I think probably UCF plus 8.5, plus 9.5. UCF having a really, really good season. That's a team that they were closer to being on the bubble than closer to being in a couple of weeks ago. They were firmly in rising. We'll also do a little bracket update today to kind of just give you the lay of the land. Did Nebraska drop from a 2 seed to a 3 seed in bracket matrix because of their 2 losses to top teams in the country? We will find out later in the show. We also have to talk about football. Everybody was freaking out that Josh Martin, special teams analyst and man who was tasked with 2 other men to man the special teams unit this season, is gone to high school. Everybody was freaking out about it. Yeah. Not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Nah, not really. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about why it's not a big deal, but it's not. It's read between the lines, guys. We'll go ahead and talk about that. Matt Rhule also had some interesting comments. Steve Sipple wrote a great article today. And one quote from Matt Rhule in that Sipple article. Steve, guest on our show every Thursday. I think it indicated to you some things that we talked about yesterday. Because we talked about yesterday that heading into 2025, this Nebraska football program heading into year 3, with the momentum that they had after winning the Pinstripe Bowl and going 7-6 and breaking the bowl streak, a quote indicated to me that they're not going to allow that overconfidence to happen again. And they went into 2025 thinking, oh, this is, man, we got a squad. We got a team. This is it. Dylan's going to take a jump. This guy's going to take a jump. We have young players. They're all, as the season goes on, we're going to get better and better. And none of that happened. I think that experience has changed. It was safe to assume that experience changed the Nebraska football program. Matt Rhule said a quote in Steve's latest article that we are going to read that confirms that. It confirms that. And so we will talk more about that. And Troy Dannen. Great article from Sam McEwen today. Dannen. Basketball's getting more money, baby. Bring me the money. Khaleesi is coming to Westeros. Rev share is going to be added. Little bit more change in the pocket for Hoyball next season. Do they need it? Do they really like? It's an interesting discussion to have.
Tony Stark built this in a cave. with scraps.
I'm just saying. It's going to be at 12 o'clock in our main event of this show. We are going to talk about basketball, and we're going to talk about rev share. And we're going to talk about, you can make the arguments that yes, money for certain things is nice, and money for certain things at times can be needed. But can you moneyball college basketball a bit? And have we seen that kind of already been proven? Is college basketball the sport where more money equals more problems? I think, I know you can make a really good argument for that sentence, for that hypothesis. Because there are a lot of teams across the country right now that are spending a ton of money and are not having success. And there were teams last season that were spending a ton of money and not having success. And look at some of the teams that aren't spending as much money as maybe the power players, and look at how much success they're having. Now, like Vanderbilt is dropping a big bag on basketball. Nebraska isn't dropping a big bag on basketball. Now, yeah, there are some teams that are dropping a big bag on basketball, but I would argue, look at their coaches, right? North Carolina and Kansas State and Kentucky
are dropping big bags on basketball, and they're not having that much success. But Michigan State's dropping a big bag, and Illinois is dropping a lot of money on basketball. But who would you rather have be your head coach? Jerome Tang or Tom Izzo? Is it about money? Is college basketball more about money or more about coaching? I think it's probably the latter. And Nebraska seems like and Nebraska has known that they've had a really good coach manning their bench for quite a while. He's just had to figure out how is he going to put the roster together the way Fred Hoiberg has had to figure out how am I going to be a GM for myself? How am I going to give myself the tools that I need to have a successful team? He finally accomplished that this season by building, and it's taken a couple of years, but he's built a roster that fits the strengths of his coaching style and has built a culture with the coaching staff that he has created to make himself the odds-on favorite at this point to be coach of the year. So we will talk all about Nebraska basketball. We'll talk about Roger Goodell. We will talk about Nebraska football. We'll talk about Josh Martin, which I wonder how many casual Nebraska fans really knew who Josh Martin was before they found out he was going to go and coach high school football yesterday. Which, by the way...
Not a clue.
By the way, I could spin zone this into it could be pretty good for Nebraska that he's going to be a high school coach in Texas.
Can we finally get that Nebraska-Texas pipeline that Matt Rhule talked about?
Exactly.
On day one?
Because it really hasn't been there. Hasn't existed.
I was told there was a pipeline.
I mean, they literally hired a tight ends coach in the very first year of this program to create that Texas to Nebraska pipeline. That tight ends coach never coached a game. And that pipeline has not produced any results. Because it's one thing, Josh, to like create a pipeline of recruits from one state to Nebraska. But it's another thing to create the pipeline and those guys actually produce. You know, like, oh, great. You've created a Texas to Nebraska pipeline. Have any of the guys played? Are any of them contributing? Are any of them, making your team better? Because what's so good about a pipeline from state to state when those guys in those states aren't contributing anything, right? I think you can make the argument that Nebraska's created a pretty decent Florida to Nebraska pipeline.
Yes.
And there have been guys from Florida who've come in and they've contributed greatly. They've done a really, really good job. But have you really had the contributions you need from people in Texas? And more contribution from guys in Minnesota than it seems like you've had from guys in the state of Texas. So we'll talk about that. It could end up being a positive, though, for this football team. So got a lot for you. Super Bowl bets, Roger Goodell, talking about commissioners, talking about Nebraska football. Got a little bit of a NBA drama, trade drama, maybe we'll tap into just a little bit. Nebraska basketball and Creighton basketball not in action tonight. It's kind of the first time I feel like in a little bit where we haven't had someone like of like one. It just feels like those teams have been playing like every day. It seems like that, and it seems like Omaha's been playing like every Tuesday. Mavericks not in action tonight, but they are coming off of a very big win against Denver. Want to give them a shout out. That was a big win. Paul Jobay, remember the name, Frenchman, transferred from Miami to Omaha, has played in, I think, like 10 or 11 games. He's averaging 20 points per game right now. He has become the main guy that it seemed like early on in the season the Mavericks did not have. They have him now in Paul Jobay, and we already know that this Omaha team has pieces that can support a main guy, right? Because they did it last year with Markel Sutton. Omaha could be making a run in the Summit League again. That'd be a hell of a story, man. Be a hell of a story in the Summit League. And I'm from all of the knowledge that I gained about the Summit League over the last year, I know the Summit League wouldn't be too happy if Omaha would be their representative once again. But this time, man, St. Thomas, they're having a really, really good season. They're kind of rising up in the net, being one of the better mid-major teams in the country. That's going to be a team that once again would be really, really hard to beat come the Summit League tournament. But it seems like the Omaha Mavericks are clicking at the right time. Giannis Antetokounmpo might be a bull, baby. Oh,
I'm going to let you run with this fantasy.
Okay, you call it a fantasy. But he was plus 4,000 a couple of days ago to be a Chicago Bull. He's now gone all the way to plus 240. Okay. Clearly, like there are conversations that are being had.
That's why I'm going to let you run with
Milwaukee's reportedly making counteroffers to teams, which is indicating that he very well could, if they're already countering, which by the way, if Milwaukee's counteroffering me, I think I just go, all right, whatever you want, done. Fine, you can have it. I don't care. Right? And the Bulls are incredibly interesting. I know this from the Bulls' perspective. If they go ahead and they trade for Giannis, he'd be the best player since Jordan on that roster. He'd be the best player since Michael Jordan that they have in Chicago. He'd immediately be a superstar. The United Center already sells out every single game for Bulls games. I can't imagine what that ticket would be like if Giannis was there. And it's a place that he's already mentioned, even before he re-signed with the Bucks, that he would be interested in playing in. And there was saw a little video on Twitter of him at a church, like he was at a church in Chicago already. So maybe he's scouting out the area. Maybe he knows it's going to be his next home. Which, by the way, people do forget Kobe Bryant was very nearly a Chicago Bull back in 2006. And the reason why he wasn't a Chicago Bull was because he did not want to go to the Bulls if they didn't have Luol Deng. That's seriously.
All right.
The Lakers they wanted Luol Deng, which funny enough, Luol Deng eventually became a Laker later in his career in a terrible contract that tanked the Lakers for multiple seasons. But he wanted to have a young Luol Deng on the team, and the Lakers were like, we're not trading you unless we get Luol Deng. And so Kobe's like, I'm not going to the Bulls to be bad, and they're going to be bad if I don't have Luol. So then that deal never happened. Fun fact. Is Giannis going to be a Bull? Maybe we find out in the next couple of days. I'll tell you this right now. I watched the first 12 games of the Bulls, and I go, same old, same old. This sucks. I'm just going to kind of idly. I've been watching way more Blackhawks games, which, by the way, hell of a win for the Hawks yesterday, 6-3.
Yeah.
Even on a muffin. Bedsy goes top bookshelf. Such a good player. Ryan Donato having a great year. So that's the show we have in front of you today. Super Bowl football, Nebraska basketball, have Roger Goodell. We have commissioner rankings. We got everything here. Always and every day on Middays with Matt. Coming up next, we'll talk a little Creighton basketball before we get into the bitching hour here on 1620 The Zone.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. Always like to support the people that come on our show and talk to us during the week. One of our guests that comes on tomorrow at 11 o'clock, John Walker, dropped the mailbag. Whoa! So, very brave of John, by the way, to go ahead and do a mailbag article after Creighton basketball has lost to Marquette, got blown out, terrible loss to Marquette, and then lost to UConn on their pink out game by 25 plus points. Very brave of him to go and decide, hey, I'm going to do a mailbag today and take everybody's questions. This article is awesome. It's one of the questions was, is Creighton going to win another game this year?
Oh no.
Okay. And then now we're already getting into, so the first question also was like, is Huss or McDermott coaching the team next year? And then we're also getting a bunch of,
sure.
Should they keep this guy or keep, this guy next year? Because what needs to be noted is that Creighton is going to bring back a lot of these players next season. At least a lot of them have eligibility. I think it's Josh Dix is a senior, and Nick Graves is a senior. Those are the only two that are for sure not going to be on the team next season. So Owen Freeman, despite the disappointing season that he's had,
got a hunch which way that one's going, but go on.
Still has 2 years of eligibility. Blake Harper is just a sophomore. Jackson McAndrew is going to come back from injury. Jason Green still has another year to play. Like they have a lot of talented players that are coming back next season. And so you already have people who are like, what are their offseason moves going to be? Which is so weird, by the way, for Creighton basketball to, be in February. And we're not talking about, hey, can this be the team that finally makes the Final Four? We're talking about what are the decisions that they're going to make next year. This is such a great article, too, because you could tell John gets a little annoyed, but he has to answer the questions. Like somebody asked, why the dramatic regression on defense? A lot of the obvious factors, especially rim protection, were also present when they were playing better in December. John responded with, who could have guessed that a defense with an undersized one-arm forward playing center and a bunch of guys who consistently get beaten off the dribble would be a combo that isn't conducive to winning? Everyone should have a hand up. Awesome answer from John Walker, the Omaha World Herald. Look, I think I had a very interesting conversation with somebody over the weekend about Creighton basketball because when you go out for drinks after a 27-point blowout on pink out night, which is a very big night to indulge and have some fun, there are people who have takes, You'll never get better takes than the takes that you'll get at Lefties at 11:30 p.m.
When they're fresh.
You think the takes are flowing from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on 1620 The Zone. They are on a different level when you add a bunch of Coors and Miller Lights and whatnot. And somebody was making a very educated point, though, and an interesting point to me about, if you're saying, Coach Mack has said this season plenty of times, look, it's a difficult system to understand in the first year. Like some guys come in, they learn our system, and it takes them a while to get their feet under them and understand what we're trying to do. And, that is, I don't want to say it's an excuse as much as it's a reality. I mean, it's just the truth, right? I mean, just Creighton doesn't play a vanilla style of basketball, right? They are very technical, which is why they've been good for so long, because it gives them that coach, right? Them that coaching advantage, right? And uses their guys, and they specifically recruit guys who have a skill set that fit their system, right? But that system, regardless of the fact that those guys are recruited to be in the system, it takes a while to learn. Somebody made the argument to me, well, why don't you change the system? Why don't you adjust the system? Why have you just been like, no, the system is kind of hard to learn, and it's unfortunately we brought in a bunch of new guys, but it's taken them a while to learn, and we kind of thought that this might happen. Why not adjust to that? Why not change the system so it's easier to learn? Why didn't Mac do that? And I don't hold that thought. I don't believe that, because it ain't the system's fault. The system has proven over and over again that it works, and we've seen it work over the last couple of years and the amount of success that Creighton basketball's had. So I don't think that, as much as I think that it's just a poorly constructed roster this year. It's just a poorly constructed roster.
They had a couple injuries. They had a couple guys that didn't pan out the way they thought.
It's just one of those things where you're not going to be a good basketball team if you cannot guard the paint. They can't guard the paint. And frankly, they didn't do a good enough job of having players on the team that can guard on the perimeter, because as much as it's about that, they haven't been able to find anybody who can fill any sort of percentage of what Ryan Kalkbrenner did around the rim. It's also been about the fact that they don't have anybody who can guard on the perimeter outside of Josh Dix. They don't. And they lost another guy who could do that in Jackson McAndrew injury, which has been terrible for this basketball team. But I don't think I just bring this up because I think it's a thought that other people might have of like, well, if the system's so hard to learn, why don't you adjust the system to make it easier to learn? I don't think it's much about that as it is that they just didn't do a good job of evaluating and acquiring guys to do what they needed to do and fill the holes that needed to be filled on this roster. And that's kind of what it panned out to, right? They went in and they got a 6'10" power forward that doesn't play. And when he does play, most of his time is fouling on defense and being boxed down on the offensive end, and it is making a contribution. And you want to call that harsh? I call that reality. I call that the truth. And the truth is that they don't have an interior presence, and on top of that, they don't have guys who can guard the perimeter. And if you can't guard the paint, you're not going to win. And that's what it is. I don't think it's about the system as much as it is about the deficiencies of the guys that they have on the roster, and they're all lacking skill sets in a very important facet of the game.
I just had a flashback to the Phil Jackson Lakers days where Kobe was trying to teach the other players the triangle, and they'd be like, these players are too dumb to understand the triangle. Why don't you just change it so that you could run an offense that they're used to? And Kobe was like, why don't they just get better?
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's, we can try and talk about the system, talk about how maybe you should have adjusted it or this or that. I just think it boils down to you got too many guys on the team who don't do the same thing at a good rate. You just have too many guys who can't guard the perimeter. You don't have anybody who can be that physical presence in the paint. And I think this team has a lot of skill elsewhere. There's a lot of ball handling on this team. There's plenty of shooting on this team. There's plenty of guys who have the capability of having the ball in their hand and getting to the basket. There's a lot of Dan Hurley had a great quote that I saw yesterday on Twitter where he was talking to Coach Gino, and he was like, I don't recruit defensive players anymore. I recruit offensive players. Like I go ahead, I get guys who can play offense, but then I make sure that the guys who I'm recruiting to play offense have the want and physicality and belief to play defense. And I teach them defense because it's easier for me to teach them defense than to teach how to be a great offensive player. And Creighton has that. They have a lot of really, really good offensive players. They just don't have a team that can consistently guard guys on the perimeter for 30 seconds. They just don't. And there's just been too many lapses on the perimeter, and you don't have that kind of cleanup guy in the paint to make up for their mistakes. And so can't guard the paint, not going to win basketball games, not going to beat good teams. And they haven't. Their best wins on the road against Villanova. Other than that, they lost St. John's, they lost to UConn, they lost to Iowa State, they lost to Gonzaga, they lost to Nebraska. Every high caliber quality top team they've played, not only have they lost to, they've lost by a lot. 20 plus points to Nebraska, 20 plus points to Gonzaga, 20 plus points to UConn, 20 plus points against St. John's, double digits against Iowa State. It's just one of those things where if you can't guard the paint, it doesn't really matter what the system is and how you're teaching it and how you adjust it. It just boils down to the fact that you got too many guys in the team that, can't that get beaten like an egg off the dribble. Can't have that happen next year. And I guess the hope is that you bring some of these guys back and they learn the system and they're comfortable in the system, and then you take the next step next season. But even if you only have two guys leaving this team, and Josh Dix and Nick Graves, I still think there needs to be some pretty big roster adjustments heading in to the next season for Creighton basketball. Walker was also asked, is it going to be Huss or McDermott coaching the team next season?
Yeah, well, I was interested in the answer on that one.
He basically said
it seems like, it's been indicated that this isn't the last season for Mac. It seems
Okay.
like it's been explained that this isn't the last season for Mac.
He said preseason it wasn't going to be his last season, but I didn't know if this was going to break him.
He did make a good point of Coach Mac has been non-committal for next year, and so we don't know for sure. So it could be Mac's last season.
I'd be a little surprised if he went out like this.
I would be a little surprised. Now at the end of next year, we'll see. We'll see. I think next year is more of the conversation. All right. Coming up next, let's talk about the Super Bowl, some of our favorite Super Bowl prop bets. If you have a favorite Super Bowl prop bet, or you love, like, you have a story of, like, I put way too much money on the coin toss, or I got the Gatorade right the year that they dumped it on. If you have something fun like that, 402-951-1620 The Zone is the phone to call. Talk to us. It's also the number to text us, 402-951-1620 The Zone. Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more. Don't forget about the Equitable Bank inbox as well. Old man Doug, pick up on the first ring. They take banking personally. Matt at 1620 The Zone. Josh at 1620 The Zone. Don't forget to tweet at us as well, at Producer Josh, at Matt McMedia. Have a fun show for you in store today. Super Bowl prop bets coming up next.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays Matt here on 1620 Zone. We had the NFL Network on the entire time we've been here in studio, and it just seems like this is like the NFL Network on a Tuesday. They are literally just trying to fill as much time as possible.
These hats are atrocious.
They're terrible. Okay, so our very good friend, Chris Prudon, is over in Santa Clara right now.
Oh, you mean he's the engineer for the Pro Bowl games tonight or something.
Oh
like
wow,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
He sent me some you can get the official Super Bowl merch there in Santa Clara. So did it for me last year, he's doing it for me this year. He's bringing me, some official merch.
And just pro tip between me and you, no one's listening. He in the past has brought us each a little something
really cool stuff.
Not like a hat or anything, but like, hey, here's a piece of like actual confetti that was in the stadium.
So here's a really cool thing. He brought me a bunch of confetti from the new from the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl win last year. He put it in a nice little cup, and it was like the confetti was in the shape of the Lombardi Trophy. My best friend Mike, shout out, big Eagles fan.
Oh, great, perfect. Did you give it to him?
I gave it to him.
Okay, great, good. You're a good friend.
I gave him the confetti from the Eagles Super. He was almost crying.
Yeah,
he thought it was so cool. So he has shout out Chris for allowing me to do that. He showed me some of the gear available at the Super Bowl, because I'm just mentioning this because you say that the hats are terrible. It's bad. Not a good merch year for the official Super Bowl stuff. It's a lot of it was not that good looking, very bland.
A lot of it looks like just okay, this is the team that's in it. Let's put a patch on top of a hat.
So Manti Te'o has this like kind of beige hoodie, and it's got the Santa Clara with the Golden Gate Bridge LIX logo.
That's fine. That's maybe the best piece that I've seen.
They don't have a lot of that. They have just a bunch of bold lettering and like black and yellow. It's just it was disgusting. I did get though like a purple. I found one like that where it's the purple polo with the official LIX or LX
nice
logo. So I got that. But I'm just adding to your point. Not good, like from what we saw at the stand and what he was showing me, not good. Not good at all for the options that you had to pick from. So hopefully they can fix that in the future. Okay. I tasked you. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now. We're going to spoil it. This Friday, we got the big board returning.
Oh, hello.
Matt's big board will make its first appearance on Middays with Matt. We will have the board. We'll have all my bets. My bets have I do not have everything done yet, but I have a lot.
Okay.
I have a lot done. We're getting there. By the way, Michael Severe will be here at 11:30.
11:30. That's very soon.
So we will talk to him. We'll see. He's very good at Michael Severe is a legitimate Super Bowl prop bettor. Like he's an expert in this stuff. So
now
we'll get some of his stuff.
Now there's pressure on me because he's probably listening.
He probably is.
Okay.
So
now I feel like some of these are stupid.
If you go to FanDuel,
that's where I went.
The Super Bowl game specials. Oh my God.
Very quickly before we get into this, let's do our friend Bet Free Mike a favor.
Yes.
We do encourage you to bet responsibly.
Yes, we do.
And within limits.
Yes, we do.
And all of that stuff. Okay, now that we've done that, let's get stupid.
Okay. Here's my favorite prop bet of the entire Super Bowl.
Okay.
Jersey number of first TD score.
I saw this.
Over 11.5, under 11.5. Okay.
I mean, that's
so over is plus 110. Under is minus 145. Okay. I'm going to bet the under. I'm going to bet the under. I'm going to bet the under at minus 145. Because here's who you get. Okay. Here's who you get on both sides. You get Drake May, you get Kayshon Boutte, you get Stephon Diggs, and you get Demario Douglas if you are the Patriots. If you bet the Seahawks, you get Cooper Kupp, Jackson Smith and Jigba,
Kenneth Walker. Okay, that's who you get. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take the Stars, because if you bet the over, you're betting that like a Travion Henderson is going to break one off, or Ramondre Stevenson is going to punch one in, or Sam Darnold's going to have a scramble for a touchdown, or one of these tight ends are going to get the pass. I'm going to go with the superstars. I'm going to go with betting on Kupp, Walker, and Jigba, Diggs, Booty, and Drake May. So give me the under on the jersey number being under 11.5.
Okay.
For the first TD score. You are up next.
I'm in my first one. I'm going to go way out there, and then I'm going to reel it back in.
Okay.
Super Bowl score repeat.
Yes, this is a great one.
Patriots 28, Seahawks 24. That was the score of the last time they met in the Super Bowl. If it happens again on Sunday, plus 35,000. Why the heck not put $1 on that?
Okay.
And I mean literally $1. I'm not being cool.
All right, here's my next one. Fastest ball carry speed from Next Gen Stats.
Whoa, I did not see this one. Okay.
We're going to bet that Rashid Shaheed exceeds over 19.5 miles per hour.
Okay.
In the game against New England.
You see these guys routinely going 22, 24, 25.
You know what? He can hit it, and he's got the potential that at any point he can hit a big punt return. He can hit a big kick return. We saw it against San Francisco.
I thought about taking special teams touchdown just because
he just needs. And by the way, New England or Seattle special teams this season has been awesome. Has been really, really good. I mean, they have won the hidden yardage battle all season long. Give me Rashid Shaheed over 19.5 miles per hour, minus 112. Okay, that's what I'm going to roll. I have a great one coming up.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Then I'll do mine quickly. Both teams successful fourth down conversion.
Oh, this is a good one. What's the odds on
these teams are going for fourth down and getting it all the time. It's
Yes.
not even a challenge anymore. Both teams, yes, plus 245.
Ooh,
that's a sizable chunk of change for something that's somewhat routine.
Is it? They have to convert it, or they have to go for it?
They have to convert a fourth down conversion successfully.
That's a tough one. I don't know. That's a tough one. Okay. How about this? Let's go with Drew Lock to record a snap.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Plus 710.
Are you thinking a kneel down?
I'm thinking a knee.
Okay.
He's been on the team for a while. He's been a Seattle Seahawk for a minute. The Seahawks are pretty decent favorites for Super Bowl standards. I could see Seattle being up 7 with the ball and then throwing Drew a bone. I think it's worth it.
Okay.
Also, too, you never know. This New England D-line gets after the passer. They can go and sack you. They can get after you. It's a good D-line. What if Sam Darnold just kind of, goes down for one play, and they got to bring Drew in?
His helmet comes off.
Yeah, snaps the ball. I think it's a great play for plus 710. I think it's great.
It's a good figure for
Okay, your final one, and then we'll do
my final one.
We'll
okay.
do the standard one.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna tweet some more because I got more.
Oh, you have more? Okay, well keep going.
Shortest touchdown scored.
Okay.
Over under 1.5 yards.
Okay.
I went over because it's plus 112.
Okay. All right. I like that. I'll give you one of my favorite ones that I've bet a couple of times.
Okay.
Super Bowl 60 MVP position of winner.
I saw
So
this.
you don't have to pick who's going to win it. You just have to pick the position. I think wide receiver has a legitimate opportunity to win this award.
This
right?
isn't a slam dunk winning quarterback is going to be the MVP.
I don't think so either. I mean, you got two notable QBs, but I could see, what if Booty has a big game?
I would love for Booty to have a big game.
What if Cooper Kupp repeats, him winning a Super Bowl MVP this time?
Booty Bowl.
Has there ever been a player that's won Super Bowl MVP twice for different teams?
Oh.
Has there ever been a player that's a two-time Super Bowl MVP that's won it for a different team each time? Off the top of my head. Oh, you know what? There has been Tom Brady.
Okay.
So Tom won it for Tampa, and Tom won it for
Or was Tom the Super Bowl MVP? He was the Super Bowl MVP.
Tom Brady's the only player in NFL history to win a Super Bowl MVP award with 2 different franchises.
Yeah. Look at me, ball knower.
We got there, everybody. Okay.
No, I got there immediately.
Yeah.
But never been a non-QB to do it.
Correct.
I like plus 420 for a wide receiver to win the. And you got to think, you got Diggs, you got Jackson Smith and Jigba, you have Booty, you have Cooper Kupp, you got options. You got multiple options there. Plus 420 is a good number. There's a bunch of like kicking ones. There's so many kicking.
I have
props.
a kicking one.
Go ahead, give one.
Will any punt result in a touchback?
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
Yes is plus 126.
I saw that.
Okay, you're going to give me money if a punt is a touchback? Okay.
All right, here's a good one. Back to the position of winner. QB versus the field MVP award. Quarterback minus 250. Any other position plus 195. I want to remind people it's not a slam. There are at the top of my head, there are a lot of different non-QBs. Malcolm Smith won it. Edelman won it. Cooper Kupp won it. Hines Ward won a Super Bowl MVP, right? Most positive that's the case. Like, there's plenty of non-QBs to win this award. Now, if it's like, we do have to mention, though, if you don't have, like, you have to have a pretty incredible performance from a non-position player.
Right.
If it's a crappy game, if it's just a meh game, more than likely they're going to give it to the quarterback. If it's just an average game of football.
But if one of these running backs goes for $125, $150, two touchdowns,
easy, you give it to them. Some of these are ridiculous, though. Like, will an RB catch a first pass? Or which RB will catch a pass first? George Halani or Travion Henderson? That's ridiculous. To be fair, I shouldn't be making fun of ridiculous bets when I'm the one who's going to bet that Rashid Shaheed is going to run over 19.5 miles per hour.
I have a score in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Yes or no?
Okay.
No is plus 320.
There was one here.
Yes is minus like 490 or something.
See, this is one I'm willing to bet on. Distance of longest successful field goal, over 49.5 yards, under 49.5 yards. I would take the under.
I saw a prop for will any kicker hit a 60-yarder?
No.
And then I immediately looked up the longs for both kickers. It was 59 and 57.
You want this one?
So I decided not to put it on my sheet. Yes, go ahead.
Will there be a scoregami?
I saw that.
Plus 2,800. Scoregami is like a unique score that's never happened before in NFL history, which at this point we're running out. We're running a lot. Now, this is a fun one, too. Points scored in the first 5 minutes of the game. Points scored in the first 6 minutes of the game. Points scored in the first 7 minutes of the game. Either team to score in their first offensive play. Now, let's get to the real one, okay? Heads or tails this season? I'm going to go with tails.
Tails never fails.
Tails wins the coin toss. I'm going to say that the Gatorade poured on the winning head coach. I think blue is the best bet.
Going blue. I have yellow, lime, green as
really?
my pick. Plus 270.
You got to think of both teams.
Yeah.
What if either team wins?
They used to try and match it to the team color. Like, okay, you're the Chiefs. You're drinking fruit punch Gatorade.
Sure. But I think also too, it's just kind of it's lined up in regard to like just what color Gatorade does the team like.
Yeah.
You know, like if the team likes to drink orange Gatorade, then why do we now have to switch it out?
It's a player, it's a player league. You got to give the players what they want.
I'm just saying, like, if we all season have been drinking orange Gatorade, why are we changing that for the Super Bowl? Why are we changing up why are we drinking blue now?
Right.
I like orange.
I would be a huge guy walking up and down the sideline saying, "We're losing. It's because we changed the Gatorade."
You guys changed Gatorade.
Yep.
You cannot drink the same Gatorade all the way up to the Super Bowl, and then you get to the Super Bowl and you just change the Gatorade.
Precisely.
Right? I mean, what are we doing here? Just because it's a special event, we change things up? No, keep it simple, stupid. Do what got us here. Orange is the favorite, plus 240, which leads me to believe that both teams have been drinking orange Gatorade all year. Because orange is not aligned with either team. So I think that's the theory. Oh, they've been drinking orange all year. They're not going to go with it. Yellow, lime, or green is plus 270.
Blue is plus 270. I don't know. Purple plus 650. What if they get weird?
Purple. Whoa, that would be weird.
Now I wonder, does this bet, like, does it change? Like, do the odds change as the game goes on, as we find out what Gatorade color they are drinking? Also, too, I mean, I feel like this could be easily compromised. What if I know somebody on the coaching staff for the Patriots? You know, and they tell me, "Hey, we're going with porn."
You'd be like that Alabama baseball bettor.
You know what? This kind of low-key, this happened with somebody on the Seattle Seahawks. Like Devon Witherspoon got drafted to the Seattle Seahawks, and there was he played at Illinois, and there were people at Illinois who found out that, hey, Seattle is really, really interested in Devon Witherspoon, and there was high odds for that to occur, and a lot of people in Illinois ended up benefiting from that because they knew that Seattle had taken Devon and, had an extended stay, and they were very interested in him. So those things can happen. But, it's not one of those $800,000 bet for it to happen, right? If somebody's putting $42,000 on purple to be the Gatorade, color spilled on one of the coaches, I think what's going on there. Which, wouldn't it be so funny if there was an FBI investigation on collusion in sports betting over Gatorade pouring?
I would like that. The NFL yesterday committed to investigating certain files that are in the news, and I thought that was interesting as well. Let the NFL investigate everything.
Plycat goes, if you're a real POS, a lot of books offering plus 100 on coin toss can get both sides break even and rack up rewards points. It's all about the points. People don't know, if you go to the casino, you put your card in, you get a lot of rewards, guys.
It's all about the
That's
rewards.
why I go there. So when we have the Christmas extravaganza, I can get all my free gifts.
I've been doing it all wrong.
Mike goes, those are guaranteed investigations. Absolutely they are. Are you kidding me?
I'm in the Casey's parking lot like a sucker.
You'd be so dumb to put $10,000 on a Gatorade. Just put 100. Hey, my buddy, my buddy works
on the Gatorade.
Well, my buddy works for the Patriots.
Oh,
He's told me that they're gonna have purple if the Patriots win. I'd put $50 on it. That's collusion, but no one's gonna investigate that.
No one's.
All right, coming up next, we're going to talk to a very notorious Super Bowl prop bettor. It's Michael Severe here on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays Matt here on 1620 The Zone, welcoming in a very special guest every Tuesday at 11:30, the executive director of the Jet Award Foundation, Mr. Michael Severe. How are you, my man? How you doing? Michael?
How you doing?
What did I get it right?
No, you're good.
What did I get wrong?
No, you're fine. You didn't get anything wrong at all. Nothing at all. You
What
did
did
a
I get
great
wrong?
job. You did a wonderful job as always.
What did I do? What did I do?
Nothing. You're fine. You're doing wonderful work. It was weird because I was getting all of these weird sounds. There was a lot of background of someone pounding away on a keyboard. I'm assuming it was Josh. And so it was a lot of stuff happening there in my ears. But I'm here. I'm okay.
I was worried for a second that I got your title of wrong, but I got it right. I made
the executive director.
The executive director. What did I say?
I didn't. Again, it was fine. You did a good job. You did well.
You can't be this facetious.
I'm not in any way angry. Now I may be sardonic occasionally, but I'm rarely ever facetious. And I'm Catholic.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't get that.
It's just a joke.
Yeah, that went right over my head.
Yeah,
like a lot
okay.
of things go over my head. Oh, you got to listen.
So right over your head, huh?
By the way, you got to listen to the crossover with Unsportsmanlike Conduct today.
Today?
Today. Because
Did it already happen?
No, it's going to happen at 1:45, and Josh Hodson can confirm. There's somebody that I didn't know existed until yesterday, until about 12 hours ago, that is going to shock a lot of people.
It will floor you.
So that you didn't know existed. A person or a thing?
Person. I did not know a person existed.
Okay.
And I think it's going to lead into a conversation of why would people Matt's age know this person really was alive and what happened to them.
Okay. All right.
No guess.
Does it involve Lamont from Sanford and Son?
No. No.
Damn it. Grady, maybe?
No, I don't know.
Rollo from Sanford and Son.
Now you're just naming people you know I'm not going to know.
They're all on Sanford and Son, my friend. They're all dead. The only people left still on the original Sanford and Son were the two police officers that would always harass Fred. They're the only two still alive from the show. It's very sad.
Hey, you had some Senior Bowl takes.
I did. Yeah, I watched Senior Bowl. Watched some practice. Watched some games. Yeah.
I have been. I will be honest. I watched some of the practices, but a lot of the things I know about the Senior Bowl have come from a bunch of other people who were there and who have reported on it. So I'm not gonna pretend that I'm some expert that watched it and made a bunch of scouting reports. But I'm curious. You are one of those people who do watch it, and you do have your kind of personal scouting reports. I'm curious as to what anyone who stuck out to you specifically, and then I want to ask you about a local product. But first, who specifically, anyone kind of popped to you?
Well, mainly I was watching for the local prospects. I was watching Sierra Wright played, how Deshaun Singleton played, how Cole Payton played. That was kind of what the main reason. And the Iowa right tackle will probably end up playing guard with the great mullet. But
Deginger or something like that.
That's pretty much why I was watching. So Deshaun Singleton, who early in the game came downhill to make a tackle and got just blown up. I felt bad for the kid. Stopped his feet, and that's a cardinal sin. And so he got pretty much laid out. But other than that, played really well. Had 4 tackles, filled a couple of times, had a great interception off of a deflected ball that should have been caught. Got called for a DPI that I didn't think was a pass interference. I thought it was kind of a cheap call. But in general, played pretty well. Played like a big in the box safety, although he was playing the deep half the majority of the time, or the deep middle. I thought he played pretty well. Sierra Wright, the biggest problem Sierra had was getting off of blocks with the wide receivers. He got locked in a couple times with some of the big wide receivers that were on the other team and got driven out of bounds a couple times and got thrown in to the bench one time. So he had some problems with that. But in terms of coverage, he was fine. I thought he played really well coverage-wise. There were some good wide receivers that were out there. Both guys, matter of fact, the majority of the wide receivers that are out there were guys who were either on my preseason, midseason, or the final 10 list for best special teams returners.
Wow,
so Vinny Anthony was out there for Wisconsin, who was that way. One of our finalists, kid from Louisville, same thing. He was out there. So, and I've noticed this trend, and we talked about it a little bit last week. More and more of these guys who are return specialists are transferring from the schools where they are primary return specialists, going to another school to become a really good wide receiver, and then getting drafted higher because they have the dual ability to be return guys. And so there were 6 total guys at wide receiver in the Senior Bowl that were either on the preseason list or the midseason list or the finals list for the general.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a great stat. That's very interesting. Let's talk about Cole Payne.
Yeah,
he's the guy, the local product I wanted to ask you about, because he entered this process being kind of looked at as a potential, 7th round guy, undrafted free agent, a little bit more on the back half of the draft. But he goes in and, I think obviously with these FCS guys, the Senior Bowl is the maker. I mean, it can make you a ton of money, right? I mean, Gray Zabel from last year, the guard that got drafted to Seattle, that was a guy that people thought, okay, maybe he could be a top 70, top 60 draft pick. He ends up solidifying himself as a first-round draft pick because he performs well in the Senior Bowl. Cole Payne was getting raved about. I mean, Todd McShay had with Mensch had this massive stand-up about he was slinging the ball everywhere, and he was throwing to the left, rolling to the right, rolling to the left, getting into the throwing from the boundary, throwing to the field, like just kind of did everything. Your analysis of what the former Omaha West Side quarterback performed at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama.
I've watched Cole now both as a football player and a baseball player since he was back at Westside. And the thing I've always thought about him is if he was going to make it in the league, it was going to have to be as a tight end or as a quarterback that plays kind of the multiple positions where you're using him. Yeah, you're using him as a Taysom Hill type. He just still doesn't have a natural throwing motion that makes him very accurate. There are a lot of times where he'll throw a ball, and you saw this a lot in practice, where it just sails on him.
Yeah.
The game was tough. The game was really windy, so a lot of guys struggled. He had a couple floaters out there, but it was the wind, especially going into the wind was really tough for those guys. But I've always thought he needed to move positions. Now, the first 3 or 4 years he was in college, he was basically that Taysom Hill type. You had a starter in Cam Miller who was really good, and so he was behind him. He got his chance to start this year. I thought he performed pretty well, but still – his passing leaves something to be desired. I don't think he is an NFL in terms of accuracy passer, and I don't think he'll ever develop into that. But I think as an athlete, as a talent, I think he could make a living in the NFL, either as a backup quarterback who comes in occasionally and then does some other stuff, or if he decided to, I think at his size and athleticism, he could play tight end in the league.
Yeah.
His last 2 games, I watched him play at Westside in the playoffs. They put him in late as a defensive end, outside linebacker, and he made plays in those games to end the games.
Wow.
That's the kind of athlete that the kid is.
Yeah.
And so I really like him as an athlete. I just don't think I don't think he can be. And I heard what McShay said, and I heard what some of the guys said. Listen, I watched all the practices and all the throws I got to watch of his, and very rarely is he ever precise.
Sure.
He can be occasionally accurate, but he's very rarely.
And I think also too, a lot of their reactions came from the fact that this is a very weak quarterback draft. Like this is not a good quarterback draft. And I think people are just looking for something at the quarterback position.
They're looking for number 3. They're looking for number 3.
And they're looking for something that's not going to disappoint them, because a lot of the other quarterbacks that aren't Ty Simpson or Fernando Mendoza have just been disappointing in terms of
Ty Simpson's disappointing.
Oh,
I don't
understand
that either. One guy has been Gus Nussmeier had a great week of practice. Nussmeier showed when he's healthy. I mean, the man had a core issue. Try injuring your core and then try playing quarterback at the SEC. It sucks. Just one of the worst injuries I ever had in my life was I had some torn cartilage in my rib cage.
Oh God!
You can't sneeze. You can't cough. You can't lay down. Take it comfortable.
Yeah.
So he's healthy. And he looked really good in both the practices and looked great in the game. I mean, it was limited amount of time he was in the game, and it was very windy, but he showed that he can be athletic and get on the edge. He is a better athlete than the comparison of Jared Goff that we'll make. He's a much better runner than Jared Goff and much better athlete. I think he should be the number 3 guy, although I don't believe in Ty Simpson as the number 2 guy. I've said all along I thought he should go back to college. I think Nussmeier is your next best guy. He is Tyler Shuck this year. That's what Nussmeier is. He is Tyler Shuck.
With Ty, which is funny, Shuck was an ACC guy coming from Louisville, who
and multiple other schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the casual fan who doesn't follow all these things, were like, who the hell is a Shuck guy? Where the draft people very much had his eyes on him. Garrett Nussmeier is the casual fan who knows who Garrett Nussmeier is, which is very interesting. Ty, with me, when it comes to Ty Simpson, for me, Michael, it's just the low has been way too low for me to invest.
What does he do? What does he do well? What is his strongest point as a quarterback? What is it? Is it his composure? Is it how he is in the pocket when he's getting pressure? Is it his accuracy?
No, I would say it's his accuracy, but at the same time, his accuracy could just fall at the wayside, right? Yeah. I mean, it drops. I mean, against Mizzou, when he played against Mizzou, he was on it. He was pinpointing passes. He was layering the ball. He was splitting safety. Like he was on it. Against Georgia, he looked like a lost boy out there. He had tons
of drops too. I will give him a little bit of credit. The amount of drops that he had from that wide receiver core that was supposed to be really good did hurt him. But I think a lot of that too was not being accurate.
I think at times though he had a really tough time of trying to identify, was it split safety or was it single high? And then like that's an issue. I mean, that's kind of what a lot of quarterbacking
the sideline.
I know, but that's
I
mean, and how we're disguising looks now in the NFL. I mean, Kirk Cousins like that did a great dive deep into it. He's like, it used to be all right. We have single high or we have split safety, and now defense has done a really good job of disguising that. And now you don't know which. It's hard to tell which reads you're going to.
Oh, they'll play cover 4 to one side and cover 2 to the other side because they know what your strengths are.
Yeah, if he struggles at doing that though, you're not going to be successful in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but at the same time, you watch Ty Simpson highlights and you're like, holy crap, this guy could be a first round draft pick. I don't know. It's.
Yeah, he doesn't. I've never thought of him watching him all year that he was a first round pick. Although I would say Alabama struggled in a lot of areas. Offensive line didn't play as well as you thought. The wide receiver dropped a lot of balls. They couldn't run the ball. So maybe all that's reasons for it. He's never impressed me. He never jumped off the page at me.
Yeah, and he made the stupidest play, one of the stupidest plays I've seen all season, where he had plenty of time to go down against Indiana and slide, and instead he stayed up and he got rocked, and then he fumbled the ball, and that kind of changed the game. All right, one more prospect I want to talk to you about, and then we're going to have a fun little question. We'll let you go. You tweeted about Malachi Fields. I've been watching Notre Dame football this year. I don't know if Malachi Fields is going to be like an 8-catch, 9-catch, 140-yard type guy in the NFL. But with his frame, 6'4", 220 pounds, and some of the catches that he made at the Senior Bowl, I mean, he's the very unique type of player where I don't know if you're going to get that volume out of him, but he simply is, to me, just a guy that is going to make catches that a lot of dudes can't in the NFL.
No, I agree with you. Matter of fact, he is. I'm going to compare him physically to a guy who I actually have multiple bets on for props, and that's Matt Collins. Matt Collins can go up and get the ball. He can block for you. His size is just, he is between the ball and the defender, and he can make plays like that. I believe he can be a guy who could have 6 or 7 catches a game. I think he can.
Yeah.
I think his athleticism is going to surprise people at the combine a little bit, and what he can do. He's a long strider, but once he gets top speed, he's pretty fast. I think he's going to be pretty good. I like him a lot. And like I said, with Matt Collins, you look at a guy who, whenever the ball is thrown to him, he's going to go fight for it. I think the same thing is true for the Notre Dame kid. I think he can go up and get the ball and fight for it. So,
all right, let's talk about you brought up your Super Bowl prop bet.
Yeah.
Josh and I did a fun little thing before.
I listened to some of it. Yeah.
Do you like my Rashid Shaheed over 19.5 miles per hour?
I did not. Okay, I missed that. I didn't hear that one. I did not know that was a bet. I don't necessarily get into a lot of those
silly ones,
weirder ones like that. I have a Rashid Shaheed under 5.5 yards rushing.
Okay,
a lot of people are looking at
normal.
A lot of people are looking at an over for that because of the couple games he had. But in 16 of the 20 games he played this year, he actually had 2 or fewer yards rushing.
Okay,
so I'm going to go for that. And it's not a lot of juice on it either. Like a lot of these have big time juice on it. So that's the one I like. I didn't see the miles per hour one. I missed that.
Well, you got a favorite one or a couple favorite ones?
Both quarterbacks to throw interception. I like.
Okay,
I think that's going to happen. Over sacks. It keeps moving up now, and it not extra juice on. Now it's like minus 140 for over 4.5. I think there'll be a lot of sacks. Both May and Darnold take a lot of sacks. So I think there'll be sacks. Drake May, anytime touchdown. I've been riding that one. I like that one a lot.
Okay.
He loves taking off. And you know what? You can get a little extra and throw 2 touchdowns on there. You get a really big number. He came close to getting 2 last time he played. That's one I like. Hunter Henry over 3.5 receptions. I like that one. And then I mentioned Mac Hollins. I like Mac Hollins over a couple of catches. I like him at 50-plus receiving yards. I like him in possible touchdown, too. I think he's going to be kind of a sleeper that people aren't talking a lot about who's going to have a big game like that always happens in the Super Bowl.
One I really like, what will happen first?
Okay.
Drake May touchdown or Drake May interception. I like Drake May interception plus 210.
Yeah, they have been really good early drive-wise, though. So, So it's only passing touchdown or is it overall touchdown?
I don't.
That matters for me because I think I could see him running one in early.
Sure.
And maybe throwing a pick, too. I could see that.
To throw touchdown. To throw.
Okay, so
touchdown.
I think I would take interception too.
Okay,
I think there's a better chance that he actually runs in his first touchdown. I kind of like him for first touchdown scored too. For anytime scoring. I kind of like that. I'm the opposite of you. I like heads. I'm a heads.
I believe
you can't live without a head. You can live without an ass. You can't live without a head. So I always believe in that. I'm a heads guy. And then the Gatorade thing is I think you do have to tie it into the uniforms. It still works that way. It worked last year. It still works that way. It's a uniform thing.
Don't you think it's interesting to you, though, that orange is the favorite, even though that it has no relation?
But the thing is, remember this. They have multiple things out there of Gatorade. They save one. And sometimes they'll even make the last Gatorade depending on what the lead is like and then toss that on them.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily go to what they're drinking on the sideline the whole time. Okay. There are certain coaches that have a luck thing, like Belichick had a lucky color of Gatorade he believed in. So there are sometimes that happens. If you can figure out what the lucky color is, you might be able to get that.
I think back in it was the Tampa Bay one. It was like purple, and that was like plus 750 or something like that.
See, I think the one they should use is the clear, that glacier ice.
Yeah, well,
the clear is what I would use.
If we're talking about underrated Gatorade flavors, Glacier Ice has got to be up there.
That's that's my son's favorite. That's my son's favorite.
I think it's my favorite. I think that's the universal one that I can drink the most. But
yeah, it's almost got a little. It's almost got a hint of cherry in it.
It is. No, it is. It is cherry.
That's what I like that. I'm a cherry guy.
I think it's Glacier Cherry. It's like
is it really? Glacier Ice is what I thought it was called. That's when he tells me to order it. That's what he always asks for. Because we still make his groceries for him, even though he lives on campus.
Well, you're a good parent and you're a good guest here on Middays with Matt. I appreciate you coming.
Are we done? Because now I can eat my sandwich that I made this morning that I brought with me.
What sandwich we got going? You strike me as a roast beef.
I got a sandwich. So I got roast beef on this. I've got a little salami. I've got a little roasted chicken.
Ooh,
and I have some muffalata olive mix on here too. A little bit of mayonnaise.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, you gotta have the muffalata with mayonnaise.
Slice of ham.
You ever put like a little liver sausage on your sandwich before?
I grew up with Braunschweiger here. They call it here.
Yeah.
But we grew up with liverwurst. My family had a little grocery store for a while, and in that grocery store, that's when I remembered always having it out with a little bit of cheese, and we'd have that. Yeah, it was good. Braunschweiger here is what they call it.
My dad goes to an Italian deli called Manelli's, and he's created a sandwich there called the American. And they make it for him, and he's like the American guy. It's ham, cheese, bologna, salami, and liverwurst. And they put it in, and it's like that liverwurst is like the American, like it's a great texture between the meat and the American cheese.
I would eat that for sure. Hey, Josh, I'm curious. Do you have an over under for how long it takes before Matt each show mentions his father? Like they have the over under for Hitler in the afternoon show. Do you have an over under for Matt's dad's mentions? That you should ding ding ding. It's hit. It's under the 3. So
I think we might need to do that. Yeah.
You should add that.
My dad
you should add that. Look, it's cool, man. Do what you want to do. I'm just saying it'd be kind of like a good little skit y'all could do where whenever the mention happens.
Do you want to be a part of the bit committee? We already have a bit committee. Would you like to be a part of it?
I am not an itty bitty committee. I am. I believe in large ones. So no, I'm not.
All right, we're done.
Part of that.
All right, Michael Severe, the executive director of the Judd Award Foundation, every Tuesday, 11:30 on Middays with Matt. Thank you, my man. Coming up next, let's talk about Troy Dannen. Because why not? Dannen. Here on Middays with Matt.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Bobby Marks just did a breakdown of how the Bulls can get Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Big board and everything. The touch screen was out. And
It's getting serious. It's getting hot and heavy. 8 expiring contracts.
8?
We have 8 expiring contracts. So.
You don't have to give them all up.
Well, we're going to give Buzelis up. We'll give our 26 up. We will give the Portland Trailblazers lottery protected pick, which then, if they don't get it, then they'll get another unprotected pick or a limited protection pick later. And then we will probably do pick swaps in the years that Giannis will be like 35 years old. So not only would the Bulls have Giannis Antetokounmpo and hopefully one of Kobe White and Josh Giddey, granted, praying that you don't give both of them up. Then, and preferably I would keep Giddey, Antetokounmpo, and then a lot of cap space. You can work with something there.
You go get someone in the offseason.
Go and get someone in the offseason. You can do some things there. It would just make, I'm going to be real with you.
Please.
The Bulls are not going to win the NBA title if they trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. You'd be a fool to say that. But the fact that they just could potentially not be in the play-in and actually be enjoyable to watch and could be a little frisky come March,
even this amount of effort is interesting. It's the most they've put in since the Derrick Rose years.
The thing is that the Reinsdorfs own the White Sox and they own the Bulls, and they don't want to own the White Sox anymore, but they definitely do want to own the Bulls forever. So they're basically slowly selling the White Sox to Ishbia, and then they're holding on to the Bulls. And this would be, and they're all about the ticket sale. Like the Chicago Bulls will always make sure there's someone on their team that you want to buy their jersey. There will always be some sort of Ben Wallace, You'll always have Ben Wallace, always have a Zach LaVine, always have a DeMar DeRozan. There's always have somebody on the roster that's worth buying the jersey. That's how they operate. This would be massive in that regard. Coming up in the next segment, we will talk about Nebraska football. We're going to talk a lot about Nebraska football in the 12 o'clock hour. Tim Verghese will come on at 12:30. He'll talk about recruiting. He'll talk about junior weekend. He'll talk about how Nebraska is trending in the class of 2027. We're going to talk about Josh Martin coming up, and people are freaking out.
No relation.
To who?
To me.
Your last name isn't Martin.
First name is Josh.
That's not how that works.
You got to get out in front of these stories or people are going to accuse you.
Nobody was behind the story. You get out in front of things so people don't get behind it. Nobody's standing outside the door to see if two guys named Josh are related.
Just got to let them know.
Kenneth goes, Matt, any thoughts on Panera possibly heading to Tampa to play with Kucherov?
Breadman.
Oh, my God, that would be... I'm feeling some type of way just thinking about Panera and Kucherov playing together. Big news out of Tampa, though. Anthony Cirelli out for a little bit. Sam Bennett of the Florida Panthers will go ahead and replace him on Team Canada. Sam Bennett, kind of one of the heart and souls of the Canadian team last season of the Four Nations Classic, was not selected to go to the Olympics. Originally, will now go to the Olympics with Team Canada after Anthony Cirelli. Big loss for the Canadians, but still, Sam Bennett. I mean, come on, guys. You know anything about hockey, Sam Bennett. I mean, not having maybe the best year of his career, which is why he wasn't picked to be in the Olympic team. Still, one hell of a backup to be had for the Canadians. So, love to have Cirelli. Bennett's a good backup there. Panera and Kucherov are on the same team. That'd be absolutely insane. We're also going to talk about Steve Sipple.
We're going to talk about Steve Sipple.
He had a great story today.
Okay.
And he had a quote from Matt Rhule, and it was very telling. It was a very telling quote. Very telling quote. We're also going to talk about Troy Dannen, because apparently basketball's getting more money, which good for them. We'll talk about whether or not they need it. I have some takes on that. By the way, Todd Monken has had his introductory press conference today. He's going to call the plays for Cleveland, which I didn't know that was a question. Like if you're an OC and you're an accomplished OC, then I hire you to be my head coach, there's an expectation that you're going to call the plays.
If I'm hiring you, if I'm hiring a Dan Campbell, if I'm hiring a John Harbaugh, if I'm hiring a Nick Sirianni, if I'm hiring guys that I'm not hiring them off of the merit of them being a great play caller, I'm not expecting you to call plays.
He turned 60 this week. Like, no, man, you're doing the work.
Jim Schwartz is pissed. Is so mad.
Yeah.
So he's having his, which by the way, such a Cleveland Browns thing to hire so late in the process, nationally just mess up their hiring process, piss people off in the meantime, and then have their presser during Super Bowl week. Which, by the way, if I was like the ESPN Cleveland beat reporter, I would be pissed because you'd much rather be in Santa Clara, California than in Cleveland. Talking about Todd Monken.
Yeah.
But Cleveland, just Cleveland's. Simple enough. We'll talk about Roger Goodell, too, because he had his press conference yesterday, almost like his mini State of the Union. And we are going to rank the commissioners sometime during the show today because it needs to happen. And it's fun. And we're all about having fun here on 1620 The Zone because
fun.
To add to that, the odd news coming up at 1 o'clock after our main event of talking about Husker football and Tim Verghese at 12:30 here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Nebraska men's basketball losing kind of sucks.
Good take, Matt.
Just because those 10 days where they were like the story of college basketball was awesome. And now they're kind of just in the fold.
Yeah, now it's just kind of what are they going to do in the tournament?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's not so much about that as much as it is all right, Nebraska's got a great team. Boom. We were yelling at everybody for not acknowledging that Nebraska had a great team. And then it almost took them losing those two games for people to be like, geez, okay, yeah, you're great, fine. We're done talking about you. You're just there. You're a top 10 team. It's fine. You might get to the Elite Eight, but yeah. It would have been, man, if they just won one of those games, that would have been phenomenal. That would have been great. Troy Dannen spoke on Nebraska basketball.
Dannen.
And it was in a Sam McEwen article, and basically said, look, they're going to get more money. They're going to get increased on the revenue share. And it's funny, in 2010, Dannen had a run at Northern Iowa where they upset Kansas. And he was the athletic director there when it happened. And, they went to the Sweet 16. And Dannen kind of talked about that 3-week run in March, right? He's like, it's an insane experience. Like it's awesome. It's incredible. Like there's nothing like that. And definitely expressing man, it would be so awesome, for Nebraska fans to have that, right? And for that to occur. And he was asked about, hey, is the revenue share going to expand, right? And he said yes. And then he said, that's what happens when you win. And then when you also want to build around them with more talent. And, and he was kind of referring to the fact that a lot of players will be in demand, right? And he said they will get a significant percentage increase of the rev share dollars, right? And what he's referring to is, look, Nebraska has built a team that has exceeded expectations. They were selected 14th, as they were predicted to be the 14th team in the Big Ten. They're going to finish as maybe the second or third team. Could very well, still very much in the conversation, to finish as the Big Ten regular season champions, which would be insane to think about, Nebraska basketball winning the Big Ten regular season. But basically said, look, when you have a team that exceeds expectations, you're going to have other teams that recognize, hey, these players probably aren't getting paid as much money as they deserve. We want to go and pay those guys more money and bring them on our team. And Troy Dannen, basically made it clear, hey, we're going to do what we have to do to keep Braden Frager and Price Sanford. We are going to those boys are going to get paid, right? And I think that's where the percentage increase is coming from, right? And that's where this quote comes from, right? That happens when you win, and then you also want to build around them with more talent. And so the percentage increase is coming with, all right, we want to keep our top guys, and then we want to make sure that we can continue to build around them. And I think it's very important for Nebraska basketball to keep Braden Frager and Price Sanford for more than just, hey, we want to continue to win and we want to win more basketball games. I think it's really important for Nebraska basketball to keep Braden Frager and Price Sanford to prove to maybe the other blue blood and big teams in the Big Ten and across college basketball that Nebraska can't be bullied. Nebraska isn't the feeder program. Nebraska isn't, oh, it's a cute story. Now the big boys are going to come through and take your talent. I think it's very important for Nebraska basketball to establish themselves as a very serious basketball program and say, no, we are not going to just develop this talent, exceed expectations, and then allow you to, slap your checkbook on the table and take our guys. We care about basketball here. We care about the product here. We care about keeping the product, and we care about keeping the guys that we work so hard to develop within our own walls. So it's more than just, hey, we want to keep the guys for wins. I think Nebraska basketball needs to keep Braden Frager and keep Price Sanford to prove to the nation of college basketball of, hey, we can't just be pushed around. We can't be messed with. We're not the program that takes guys that you aren't interested in, makes them better basketball players, and then allows you to take them. We don't play like that around here, partner. And so Dannen kind of putting his foot on the ground and saying, no, we're going to keep these guys, and we're going to do what we need to do to keep these guys, and we're going to build around them and have a significant increase. That's what he said, a significant percentage increase in rev share. That's a big statement. Now, what I like more about that than anything is the concept of if you build it, they will come, right? I love that Dannen is responding to the success that Fred Hoiberg has had with less resources and saying, congrats, you get more now. Because that's how it should work, right? I mean, this whole era of NIL and money and rev share should really just be rooted in good coaches get more money. you're a good coach, we're going to reward you. We're going to give you more dollars. We're going to help you out. If you're not living up to the expectations, you're not going to get more dollars. And eventually, you keep not living up to the expectations, we'll hire somebody else who will. Right? That's the era we're now in. Now, let's talk about this aspect of the conversation. Nebraska basketball needs more money to keep Braden Frager and to keep Price Sanford away from other teams. But I don't necessarily think that Nebraska basketball needs more money to be great. And here's what I mean by that, okay? You're going to give them more money because you want to keep Price and you want to keep Braden. And for the reasons I explained before, not only just to win more games, but to also establish, hey, we're not going to be messed around. But we have not seen really a direct correlation in basketball of more money equals more wins. If anything, we've seen the opposite. Kansas State's gotten a lot of money. They have not had good seasons. Back-to-back years, Jerome Tang is probably going to get let go. Probably going to lose his job. Mark Pope with Kentucky very famously has a $20 million roster that Kentucky fans can't stand, that they don't enjoy watching the basketball team. And, you know, you have the situation where Mark Pope is very much a guy that national people are saying he might be on the hot seat because he's getting a ton of resources and it's not converting to wins. Look at what happened at Kansas last year, right? You bring in A.J. Storr, you bring in Hunter Dickinson, you put all this money in, and then essentially Bill Self is saying, well, we just don't like each other. Like, that team did not like being around each other because just it seemed like money got in the way of things. And it's funny, like, you have these teams like Kansas and Kentucky and North Carolina who are these blue blood programs with a ton of money in their pocket, and they have not been able to convert that money into wins, into championships, into dominance, right? And it's because you can't build a college basketball team like an NBA team. If the teams that built, even before NIL, it hasn't always been the more NBA talent you have, the more you're going to win. That's not Florida last year, right? Like Walter Clayton Jr. was the guy who carried them all the way to that national championship along with other guys. It's not like Florida was stocked full of NBA draft picks. It's not like Auburn last year had a great team was stocked full of NBA draft picks. College basketball, I enjoy watching it so much more than the NBA, than NBA basketball, because it's just it's still a team game. It's still a team sport. To me, it's more aesthetically pleasing to see these five guys play within a harmony, as opposed to you watch NBA basketball and it's a lot of ISO and it's a lot of one-on-one. It's a lot of transition threes. It's a lot of running. It's a lot of pick and roll, right? When we get to the playoffs, it's an awesome product to watch. But college basketball has considerably less games, which means they have more meaning, especially when you get into conference play. And there's no load management unless you're Darren Peterson. Who, by the way, that's a guy Kansas has spent a ton of money to go and get. A ton of money to get Darren Peterson. And Kansas is like, they're just kind of sick and tired. Like, they're like, a lot of fans are like, this is exhausting. And yet they have a guy who very well could be the number one overall pick in the draft. And so I don't look at college basketball and think, wow, you need a ton of money to compete. Wow, you need a $20 million roster. Look at what Fred Hoiberg has done. Look how he's built this roster, guys. How did he build this roster? He built it with shooting. Can find plenty of that in the portal. He built it off of experience. Can find plenty of that in college basketball. He built it off culture. You just established that with your coaching staff. And he built it off of getting dudes who were great in smaller conferences. Right? Rick Mask killed it up Bradley. Jamarcus Lawrence had a great season over in Rhode Island. Right? If you're dating back to last season's team, right? Or last season's best player, all Big Ten first teamer, Bryce Williams. He was playing in Charlotte. Those guys aren't expensive. Those guys aren't, clamoring for a ton of money. Those guys, you don't have to drop millions of dollars to get that. So I look at Nebraska and I say, yeah, you need a percentage increase to keep Braden around and to keep Price around, because you want to establish, hey, we're not to be messed with here. But just from a roster building perspective, I don't think Fred needs so much more money to do what he wants to do. Now, you know, we don't know the number of what basketball is, right? I'll tell you this right now. It's you know, you could use more. You could probably use more. But I don't look at how Fred has built this roster and say, wow, they need 10 million. I don't look at Fred's roster and say, you know, how he can manufacture that or build this roster and say, oh, they need 7 million. I don't think they really. I mean, and that's, by the way, a credit to Fred, right? Because college basketball is played very differently than NBA basketball. Yet the NBA prospects are going for a lot of money. You can kind of moneyball college basketball. You can build. That's what they've done this year. Nebraska is spending almost 5 times less than Kentucky. And yet if they were to play Kentucky on a neutral court, Nebraska would be favored. And Nebraska would win that basketball game because they're just a better team than Kentucky. So I'm definitely in support of Nebraska basketball getting more money. I'm definitely in support of getting of keeping Braden Frager around and keeping Price Sanford around. But I don't look at how Fred builds his rosters in the pieces that he needs to be successful and say, whoa, they need to up the budget all the way. You know, you probably Fred is well within his right now to go and say, hey, we want this shooter. He shot 42% from 3 last season. He's coming from Minnesota. You know what? BYU wants him for $600,000. Hey, Troy, can we? I know we're at budget right now. Can you give me $100,000 more? You know, can you just give me a little oomph to go and get this guy? He's well within his right to do that. But I don't. And once again, it's a credit to Fred, the fact that you can look at his roster and say, wow, they're 20-2, and that's replicable. You can do that. You can repeat that. You can be efficient. You don't need to drop the big bucks like Kansas State and Kansas and Kentucky and create what seems like for some of those teams a big cultural divide within the locker room because players are thinking about, why is he making more money than me? You know, at the end of the day, we call them professionals, right? But they're still 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. Right? You don't have this problem in the NBA as much because they know it's a business, right? They know that, hey, you know, top players get paid top money. That's how we're doing it. We're all making money here. We're all professionals. We all want to win. We all want to eventually get our bag. Where in college sports, it seems like, you know, this has happened in football too. The most recent story coming out of Ole Miss where guys found out how much other players were making. And, you know, you had some Ole Miss guys hop in the portal because of it. Like, you know, seems like it causes a cultural divide when you spend a lot of money in basketball because guys are like, hey, why is he making more than me? Why is he making more than me? It's something that, you know, might have happened last year at Nebraska. So it's one of those things where I think with Fred, he deserves an increase in revenue percentage, but I don't look at it and say, wow, they need it. No, Fred's a good enough coach where he's established, hey, I know what I'm building. I know what I need. I need shooters. I need a spacing 4. I need some decent defenders. And I need guys who are going to buy into my system. You don't need $10 million to do that. You don't. But he's coached his ass off. Ziegler has coached his ass off. Lesnar has coached his ass off. These players have bought in. They've established a great culture that's dated back to Juwan Gary, Emmanuel Bandamel, and Sam Griesel, which has been carried over by Sam Hoiberg into this team, which, you know, you got a guy like Cale Jacobson where you feel like, okay, he's going to carry that torch to the next generation to carry on that culture. They're building something. They're building something at Nebraska. But what they need to do this offseason is establish, hey, we can't be bullied. Hey, we can't be pushed around. Hey, you can't poach our players. We're committed. We're committed to this basketball team. We're committed to this coach. We're committed to this roster. We're committed to this vision because he's earned our commitment. If Fred Hoiberg has earned anything this season, it's the commitment of the athletic department. That's the key to NIL if you're a coach. Earn the commitment of the people above you. Some people are given that commitment and they take it for granted. Fred Hoiberg has earned the right to be invested in. The team has earned the right to be given more of the piece of the pie. That program has earned every dollar
Every additional dollar they are going to get, earned it. You would hope that other programs in that athletic department, and you know what program I'm talking about, would look at what basketball has earned and try and do the same thing and not act privileged because they're given it, because they make money. No, you earn things around here. And when Troy Dannen and his investment, his additional investment into basketball, it's proven things are earned here. If you win out there, you'll get our commitment in here. It's a statement. And it's a statement that needs to be resonated across the athletic department, and especially to the people who are sitting in the fancy buildings and the fancy offices. And I don't need to say who those people are for you to know who I'm talking about. Nebraska basketball has earned everything. That's big. And that's a big commitment from the athletic department and from Troy Dannen. I'm glad they're doing it. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Tim Verghese of Rivals here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, 1620 The Zone wants to send you to the Post Malone concert. Post Malone with Jelly Roll and Carter Faith in the Big Ass Stadium Tour, Friday, July 17th at Jack Trice Stadium. Winner will get a pair of tickets and $200 to use towards travel, food, lodging, or merch. Enter online at 1620thezone.com for a chance to win. We bring in, I don't know if he's a Post Malone guy. I don't really know that if that's in his wheelhouse, but we welcome in from Inside Nebraska and Rivals, Tim Verghese. You a Posty guy? You a new Posty guy? Old Posty guy? How do you feel about it, Tim?
I'm an old Posty guy if I am a Posty guy.
Okay. All right. I agree. I don't know. I don't think it sounds like a great concept, but I don't know if I'm buying the country switch from him. Better now. That was peak Posty.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know. I mean, I was in the SoundCloud era. I was in the like the YouTube rap. It was good. I enjoyed that version of Posty.
Sure.
Just like everything that came with that, and it's been. I appreciate it. I'm very happy for him.
Sure.
I think he's a guy that deserves his success, but at the same time, I kind of miss what he was.
Well, we're around the same age. You and I were a part of the era that we would sneak down to the computer lab to go on SoundCloud to listen to Chance the Rapper. I mean, that was the thing. That was the beat. Which, by the way, there's too many rappers peaked during the SoundCloud era of our generation, and then when we all went to mainstream, we kind of lost it. But someone who isn't peaking is you. You're very good at your job. You are always on the rise, Mr. Tim Verghese. You had a great article today. You're trending up and you're trending down for potential 2027 prospects for Nebraska football. 2027. Look, it's got to be a big year in recruiting for Matt Rhule, and it looks like it's heading in that direction. Well, Steve Wiltfong, he dropped a great article out. It seems like Nebraska's heading in that direction to get a potential top 10 class for 2027. I'll just kind of give you the floor. How did junior weekend go for Nebraska football?
Yeah, good weekend. Just with the guys that did end up making it to town. We talked last week. It was going to end up being a smaller weekend than maybe initially anticipated just because of weather and travel issues. But of the guys that were in town, I mean, Keyshawn Bowman, number 6 receiver in the 27 class, was on campus for the first time, had a good experience, and is going to be back. And that's a big deal, of course, learning some staying power there. I mean, that's a recruitment that has the who's who of the current college football. It's Oregon, where he was formerly committed to. Ohio State's in the mix. Miami's in the mix. Vanderbilt and Tennessee are in the mix. And so for Nebraska to be right in there and be the program that he chooses to spend the final weekend of January at is a big deal. So really intrigued to see how Nebraska continues to work in that recruitment. This is going to be one where I expect Keel Shorts to really sink his teeth into moving forward. On the offensive line, it was a big weekend for Jeeve Wade. Timmy Aliu, 4-star offensive tackle out of Locust Grove, Georgia, just loved his visit and told Steve Wiltfong afterwards that Nebraska is and remains kind of the leader for him. And that's a big deal considering that's a guy from SEC country who was at Georgia on Friday. And then after his Nebraska visit, stopped through Auburn real quick. So he's wanted, he's desired, and still Nebraska's the program that really continues to stick out to him. It helps. Steve Wade had a relationship from his time at Georgia Tech. And then they also had Kyler Kuhn, 4-star interior lineman, the top 10 interior line prospect in the country. Maybe Nebraska's top target in Kansas City here in the 27 cycle. We know how important that area is to Nebraska. He's kind of the guy in 27. And you're battling top regional programs, Iowa, Missouri, so on and so forth. But you're also battling Penn State, Florida, a few national programs in the mix. I think the more Nebraska can get him on campus and can continue to get him on campus, the better. And again, that's another one where pretty important that he chose to spend the weekend at Nebraska. He was at Missouri on Saturday and then stopped through Nebraska on Sunday. And on the defensive side of the ball, you had Waylon Wooten, 3-star defensive tackle out of Loganville Grayson down in Georgia, on campus for the first time. 6'2", 300-pound, big body defensive tackle. Nebraska needs those kind of guys. This is the one, there was a window. He was really high on Florida and Auburn, but coaching changes in both those programs kind of opened it up for a new program to get involved. Nebraska's the team that took advantage, got him on campus. He called it a one-of-one experience. And so I'm going to be catching up with him here in a bit.
Nice.
Excited to kind of hear what he has more on what he has to say. But yeah, that's going to be a guy to definitely get familiar with as we get deeper into the cycle.
Tim, when I went to the Battle at the Boneyard, obviously Trey Taylor stuck out and Ahmad Hudson stuck out. One guy who I don't think Nebraska's in the mix for that I really, really liked was Amir Sears, the corner for Raw Miami. But another guy who was there who was very noticeable was Bryce Williams, corner out of Florida. It seems like Nebraska. I mean, this would be a legit blue chipper out of Florida if Nebraska could get his commitment.
Oh yeah, this is a guy. This is a versatile DB, a big frame DB out of South Florida. You talk about Amir. I mean, Amir Sears is having one of those. Coming off of the season he had and early on this offseason, having one of those. Okay, here's a future superstar type moment.
Sure. Yeah.
He's kind of he's the number one athlete in the 28 cycle. But yeah, with Williams, he's a bigger frame corner that pretty early on committed to Florida State because of relationships there. Pat Surtain Sr., Devin Rispress, a couple of guys on that staff were the key reason he was there and committed early. Staff changes over there led him to kind of reopen his recruitment. And so he's now back open, considering a few programs. Nebraska got him on campus twice in 2025 while he was still committed to the Seminoles, and they're expected to get him back at least once here in March. And fully expected to get an official visit if he even gets to that point. Here's the thing with him. I just input a prediction for Nebraska. I'm joining Chad Simmons and Sean Callahan, Brian Munson, and others here at On3 in doing so. I think the thing here to keep an eye on is going to be just how coveted he is by some of these other programs, and the effort that Addison Williams puts in here these next few weeks. Because this is a guy that, since reopening, Miami wants him to stay home. Georgia wants a shot at him. The new Florida staff is really making a run at him. Florida State is making a second run as the new staff gets settled in. Colorado's in the mix. So you've got a couple teams here, and teams with some say and some NIL money to flex a little bit. So I'm really interested to see how. And Texas just joined the mix, so obviously you can't count on Texas in any recruitment.
Absolutely.
But that's it. Absolutely. But, the thing is, I think here is going to be Addison Williams has done a really good job of building that relationship and developing that relationship. The other thing is, and I think you're going to see this pop up through the cycle with the guys that were at Battle at the Boneyard, they've experienced this fan base in a different way than most recruits have. They've competed and played and had the fan base cheering them on while they've done that. And for a lot of those guys that were there, Ahmad Hudson and Bryce Williams, they've come back and seen games, and so now they've experienced what it's like to be playing on that field, and then what it's like when that place is packed. And so for Bryce, a big thing that's continued to stick out for him is he's a guy that cares about the traditions of college football and taking the pride in the university that he plays for, and calling the place you play for home. And Nebraska, for a lot of these guys, Nebraska still has that because of the passion of the fan base. And how locked in this fan base is on recruiting and on, kind of the future of the program.
Tim Verghese of Rivals Inside Nebraska. I mean, I hope they do Battle at the Boneyard again. Because you come on here and first off, it was fun. It was just a great event to be at. Like, it was the first time that I ever went to an event like that where it's like, all right, here are like the future players of college football, right? And I think a lot of people appreciated that. But then when you talk about the event, Tim, it had a massive impact. And so I hope that they look toward doing that again. And it seemed like, when they did put it on, they did it efficiently, at least from my view. Let's talk about what's happening inside the building. Cause I know you and I always talk about recruiting because, you're so good at it and your player intel and your player evaluations are on point, but I know you're also very focused on what's happening within the building. Josh Martin, going to Texas. I don't want to, I'll talk personally probably on the show later about what it means for the team. I am curious though, from your perspective, what does it mean for opening up that Texas pipeline back to Nebraska? The Texas pipeline was something that Matt Rhule had talked about. They obviously tried targeting it when they hired Bob Wager. Funny enough, Josh Martin coached the tight ends after Bob Wager resigned. Do you think that him now being a head coach in high school football in Texas could potentially open up the doors back to Nebraska getting into Texas again?
It doesn't hurt, but I don't think necessarily this is going to be one of those, has a ripple effect or anything like this, in the sense that, this catches people or this, in the sense, like, I don't think people in Dallas now or in Argyle, like, in the DFW are like, oh, wow, look, a Nebraska assistant or former Nebraska assistant here,
Sure.
But I will say there is and it's not in the big, it's not in necessarily, it's in parts of DFW. I think there's still a presence, and there's still a lasting impact of what Rhule did at Baylor in particular that has stuck around in the state. But I just think in general, when you look at how Nebraska approaches the state of Texas now, it's very much a state they want to spot recruit. This isn't a state you want to invest too much in, just because until you build that pipeline, and they've tried, but it's been unsuccessful. Until you do it, it's so tough to get in there because of not only obviously you've got Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, the big powers in the region, but you've got TCU who has some money and they throw it around. SMU, another power program with money that can throw it around. Houston, is making waves. Willie Fritz, good staff over there. Texas Tech, of course, and so it's just really tough to be early on anyone in Texas and then land them out of Texas. The best defensive tackle out of Texas last cycle, not only was it the top programs in state battling for him, the kid ended up at USC because USC got involved in that recruitment and really made him feel like a priority and made sure from a money standpoint everything lined up there too.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's really tough to get into Texas, to win consistently in Texas. So that's why it's a state moving forward. I'm expecting Nebraska to spot recruit the way they have thus far.
Okay. I that's great, and you're totally right. I mean, it's just like at the end of the day, it's you can plant the roots anywhere that you want to, but a big team can come in with a checkbook, and it doesn't matter what roots you planted. Right?
Like I would say, like, real quick, the comparison, like, in Texas, you have some success, you're able to plant some roots, and so far Nebraska really hasn't had that where they can point to a guy and say, hey, this guy came from Texas.
Yeah,
because they're hoping that it's like that with maybe a Riley Van Poppel or a Bryson Weber down the line. That like a Bryson Weber having success suddenly would open up Fort Bend County, obviously an area in the greater Houston area that produces talent consistently, versus Nebraska's efforts in like South Florida. The success they've had there, and the impact of that. I talked to guys in South Florida and even guys that coaches and stuff where Nebraska's constantly on the mind of guys in South Florida because they see guys from the city go to Nebraska, have success at the big stage.
Yeah.
Once you do that a couple of years in a row, you open up the pipeline pretty much forever. I mean, this is a thing for South Florida in particular. This is something that has now lasted multiple staff for Nebraska. The success has been varying, but they have maintained a pretty consistent presence in South Florida, despite being so far from there. Just because, I mean, DiCaprio, Boodle, and then you have, you go you're a couple of years. And you have different guys from that area pop into the program. Ja'Cory Barney is a name down there. You know what I mean? Cortez Mills is a name down there. Those guys having success at Nebraska is beneficial to the overall program's success.
Yeah, and I think, Tim, too, and maybe you can add on this, like, Nebraska is in need of speed. Like, Nebraska is in need of just guys who are fast, and they have them over there in South Florida. And I think that guys are definitely encouraged in the fact that it's not they can go to Nebraska and play right away, right? Right away, Ja'Cory played right away. Cortez Mills, made an impact, and Danny Odom is another guy, from Florida who's probably going to come in and play, pretty early, and that will you think that will continue to build?
Oh yeah, and again, like it's Vincent Shavers, it's Willis McGahee,
Great
those
point,
guys,
man.
and again. Those guys in South Florida also recognize specifically with Barney and Shavers, and they're like, hey, Miami didn't really want these, Miami was cool with not taking these guys, and that means something. And so, Nebraska's one of those programs, Pitt's one of those programs, Louisville. There's a few programs that just through consistent recruiting and effort, and honestly success, have built something of a pipeline to South Florida.
That's it's great insight, and it's something that Nebraska needs. Nebraska needs to go and get those blue chippers, and they're doing their best, and it looks like they're trending in the right direction for the class of 2027. Every Tuesday is a Tim Verghese Tuesday here on Middays with Matt. We're so grateful for it. Tim, thank you so much for joining us once again, my friend.
Sure, appreciate you guys. Have a good day.
Yep, you too. Tim Verghese of Inside Nebraska, working for Rivals. Dude's a stud, and Nebraska's getting some studs.
Nebraska's there, number 6 right now, according to 247 in the class of 2027 recruiting. Still got a lot of work to do, still trending in the right direction. 4-star tackles, 4-star corners, still, what is going to happen with Ahmad Hudson? That'll be, man, talk about dudes, talk about freakazoids, talk about just, guys that can just jump higher and run faster and be more physical. I don't know, man.
That's the goal.
You haven't had a lot of guys like that come to Nebraska. And you haven't had a lot of guys like that come to Nebraska and then find success in quite some time. If they were to get Ahmad Hudson, man. Like that, if Ahmad Hudson were to commit to Nebraska for the class of 2027, remember when we had this conversation last week rather, of who's going to be that first round pick for Nebraska? Who's your draft pick for the next guy since Prince Amukamara to be the first round pick coming out of Lincoln? If Ahmad Hudson were to commit to Nebraska, he would be my pick immediately. That guy's just built different. And frankly, Nebraska hasn't had classes that have been filled with dudes who are built different like that. 2027, man. You want to get momentum back? You want to get back to good vibes? You want to get to optimism? You got to have a good recruiting class like that. Nebraska's trending in the right way, and it seemed like they had a very successful junior weekend a couple of days ago. So kudos to them. We'll see, though. I don't know if you can go 5-7 and kind of secure the services of those top dudes, right? So they're trending in the right direction now, but you got to show some results on the field, because we've talked about it with Nebraska basketball, and we've talked about it incessantly with Indiana football. If you build it, they will come. If the results come, so will the money, so will the recruits. Recruits ain't coming if you go 5-7. You get your ass whooped by Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State, because you know what? The recruits they're trying to get are offered by Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State. So, it's not just about winning 7 games or winning 8 games. It's also proving that you're heading in the right direction when it comes to competing at the top of the conference. Because why would I be a recruit and watch Nebraska get killed by 60 and get killed by 50 against Indiana and say, "Oh, I want to play on the team that's getting their ass whooped"? You got to go ahead and you got to be competitive this year. Got to be competitive this year, because it's all fun and games now with this class of 2027, but 2026 doesn't go right. Why would they want to be a part of your program, right? It's more than just words. It's actions. You need more actions in Nebraska football. We'll talk about that more on the other side of this break here on 1620 Zone. Whoa! I saw you
before we go
over.
to break. A big one from Shams Sharania.
Okay, all right.
3 future first-round picks. George Niang, Taylor Hendricks, Kyle Anderson, Walter Clayton Jr. to the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for Jaren Jackson Jr., John Concher, whoever the hell that is, Jock Landell, and Vince Williams Jr. That's right. This is the one many fans in the association have been waiting for.
Screw you. Are you kidding me? After all we talked about today, you get the breaking news with 3 first-round picks for Jaren Jackson Jr.? What is wrong with you?
What is this deal? 3 ones? For this?
Go to break. Go
for
to
this
break.
this heap of crap?
Go to break.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
At 1 o'clock, we'll have the odd news. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we're going to have the Joey Colbert report because I'm going to trade Josh Odson's ass to the morning show after
for 3 1s
and Kyle Anderson.
Did you know Memphis now has 13 first-round picks over the next 7 years?
Good. I don't care. I don't give a damn about Memphis Grizzlies basketball.
Breaking news from Shams. Deadline week.
We lose listeners when we talk about things that aren't Creighton basketball, Nebraska basketball, or Nebraska football. You think that we're going to have anybody listen to the show if we talk about the Memphis Grizzlies
and the Utah Jazz?
Even we'll lose listeners at a double rate.
Whoa, hold on. This state, more than most any other in the country, loves white people playing basketball. And if you love white people playing basketball, maybe you take a look at the Utah Jazz.
The jokes that were flying in group chats when at one point Illinois and Nebraska had 10 white guys out there were so great. It was funny. It was very funny. It was very, very funny. No, I got to give kudos to you because you couldn't have played that any better. You've known all day. We've been talking about the possibility that the greatest player in one of my beloved franchises since the greatest player of all time might be acquired. And 3 first-round picks sounds...
It was a great lead. And if you read the tweet from Shams, it was actually the last thing included in the tweet. So it was a choice that I made.
You want to pat yourself in the back more? Is your shoulder getting stretched out over there?
I thought it would go over well. It went over better than I anticipated.
This is a great trade full of people that you know, but you don't care about in the NBA.
Yep.
Like Walter Clayton Jr. Cool. Kyle Anderson. I know him. George Niang. Shout out Cyclones. John Conchar. Whoa. Jock Londale. But none of them do a whole lot. So Jaren Jackson Jr. goes to Utah. I think that it's got to tell you that John Morant probably going somewhere else and that Memphis will probably. Can you imagine if John Morant... Dude, if Giannis Antetokounmpo went to the Memphis Grizzlies, that would be just the most anticlimactic, disappointing.
They got what's his name there. They don't need him.
John Morant.
No, they got Edey.
Zach?
Isn't Zach Edey on the Grizzlies?
He is on the Grizzlies.
They don't need Giannis.
Everybody needs Giannis.
Well, okay, they don't. Then they wouldn't need Edey. I guess
you know what Nebraska football needs? Probably a special teams coordinator. That probably would be something
you should
that
get
would be
one.
wise.
I believe spring ball starts in 48 hours or something like that.
I know the saying, if your friend jumps off of a bridge, are you going to? Right? I understand that exists. But if every other serious football program has a special teams coordinator, really doesn't give me a whole lot of solace that you don't have just a proven guy at the head of the table running things for special teams. It doesn't get me all that confident, especially when you play in a conference that prides themselves on special teams, probably than more than any other power conference in football. What other conference in football is LeVar Woods going to Michigan State a really big deal?
Good point
Iowa lost their special teams coordinator, and they go, no. And Michigan
that was how we moved the ball.
And Michigan State goes, let's go. What again? What other like is Arkansas stealing Auburn's special teams coordinator? And all of Lafayette, Arkansas is going, oh my God, we got him. No. It's just funny when you go, hey, we're gonna do it by committee. And then you lose one of the people in the committee.
Be like if Nathan in Ohio or whatever.
Exactly.
It's like, guys, I'm out.
I'm out. I'm actually done with the bit committee. Then there's no committee anymore.
Yeah.
It's just we're the bit duo. Is that what we should call Brett Maurer and Nick Humphrey now? The bit duo?
The bit duo. Something to think about.
Write that down. So for those who don't know, Josh Martin, a special teams analyst. Some people tweeted out special teams coach, which, yes, he is a special teams coach. That Josh Martin was a special teams coach. But people heard special teams coach and thought that Josh Martin was the coordinator
And people freaked out. And we're like, oh my God, they lost a special teams coordinator in high school football in Texas. Oh my God. No, he was a special teams analyst. Goes to Texas, be a high school football coach. Let's just put it this way. Josh Martin was not a guy that they acquired to be a special teams coordinator this offseason. Josh Martin has been in the program since the beginning. Since they got here, Josh Martin has been an analyst. Josh Martin then took over for Bob Wager when Wager resigned after things happened for him to no longer be the tight ends coach. Martin spent a year as the tight ends coach and then was just, I guess, demoted back down to being an analyst, and never became a room coach in any capacity for Nebraska football. And clearly made this decision to be a head coach in Texas high school football for a reason. Okay. I know a lot of people like, oh my God, they lost one coach to USC and now they're losing another coach of high school football. Not that big of a deal. Just trust me. Just trust me. Not that big of a deal. This should not, like, if Nebraska football has bad special teams this year, okay, we should be talking way more about the fact that they lost Eckler to USC, and we should not be like, well, they lost Martin to Texas high school football. It's not that big of a deal. Okay? They're going to be fine. They have a plan. I don't agree with the plan, by the way. This is not me in support of their plan of just not hiring any special teams coordinator at all and saying, hey, we know Eckler's system. We're just going to run with it. Like, I'm not in full support of that. I would like Nebraska football, like every other team in the country, to have a booming, vocal, loud voice and leader for special teams. I would like there to be a designated special teams coordinator who, hey, this is my unit. This is what I take pride in. These are my guys. I would prefer that. And maybe Nick Humphrey will be that now that Josh Martin is gone, or maybe Brett Maher will be that now that Josh Martin is gone. But it seems like they're still sticking to the special teams coordinator by committee. I agree. That, you know, I don't agree with the fact that they're not going to hire a special teams coordinator, but
you're going to want one.
Josh Martin not being there don't freak out. Don't.
Seems like a lot of people are leaving, Matt. I'm just saying.
Stop it.
Just macro view.
They're not going to lose games.
A lot of people are leaving.
I'm telling you right now, they're not going to lose games this year. Okay. Because Josh Martin isn't on the staff. It's not going to happen. Okay. And also, too, the guy's going to Texas high school football. You don't think, right? You don't think if they really, really wanted to keep him, that they could have been like, all right, Josh, don't go and coach high school football in Texas. We really, really need you. You stay here. Now, this is just me assuming. Okay. This is me speculating. This is me just looking at the situation. I don't know anything. I don't know the specifics of the situation. Okay. I don't know the specifics of the situation to know why he left or what was going on with him. But I'm just telling you now, I wouldn't freak out about it. I would not. Okay. And Doug is saying, look, Doug is saying this. It's not Josh Martin that is the story. It's the laundry list of assistants that have left. Doug, I agree with you. I agree with you, but I don't think the story starts with Josh Martin. I think the story begins with Eckler, and I think it probably is continued on with Terrence Knighton and Tony White. I think you lead off with those guys before you bring up Josh Martin, and also too, just for semantics here, Josh Martin was an analyst, okay, not necessarily an assistant coach with his own room. I think that's very different here, right? It's very different. So, and Run 65 Bears writes in, now NU has boots on the ground in Texas. He's going to help find talent in Texas. Could be. I mean, I once again, we had Tim Verghese on, and I encourage anyone to go back and listen to that on a radio replay. like Tim mentioned, you have to have success on the field in college to plant roots, and you have to have successful Texas high school prospects be on your team and have that success and win on the football field to establish roots in Texas. That's how that works. I don't think just having one high school football coach who was a former assistant necessarily is going to bring in all these prospects for Nebraska, but it is something. It's not nothing that he's out there. So I'm just saying, like, yes, like Doug is going correct. It's a snowball. Yeah, I think that you can definitely be a little bit worried that there are people who have been like, no, I want to be somewhere else. I just don't think Josh Martin is the headline. I don't think you're like, oh my God, like, you know, is it one less guy in your think tank for the special teams aspect? Yeah. Can you say that might have an impact? Sure. Do I think that this is you're losing one win above replacement because Josh Martin is no longer in your staff? No, I don't.
And we've talked about Matt Rhule's deficiencies recruiting in Texas, like he promised, for weeks now. I tend to believe what Platcat is saying in the chat. Rhule could have just not said Josh Martin would be a part of special teams last month and put his foot in his mouth. Then him leaving is a nothing burger, and we wouldn't discuss it. It's a self-inflicted headline.
I think so too.
By Rhule.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, clearly though, like I think that Rhule probably needed to establish, hey, these are the guys that are going to be.
I need to tell them someone's going to be there.
Yeah,
even though no one's going to be there.
The reason I kind of disagree with that is because I don't think Matt Rhule could have just said in that radio interview, well, we don't know, and I'm not going to tell you.
We'll figure it out.
And then not. And
it's
then
special
not,
teams. I don't care about it.
Because then all the next couple of weeks, all we would have been saying is, are they hiring a coordinator? Are they not hiring a coordinator? What the hell are they doing? Special teams is kind of important. It's something that won them a bunch of games. What's the plan? What's the plan, Matt? What's the plan? So I think he had to tell you what the plan was. Right. And now, if Matt Rhule knew that Josh Martin was trending into going to be a high school football head coach in Texas and then said his name, I agree with that. Probably a self-inflicted headline if that's the case. I'll just be real with you. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. I don't know what the process was of his decision to go to be a head coach in high school football in Texas. I don't know what that process looked like. I do know though that I don't think it's that big of a deal. You know, I think that they got guys who want to be there in that program.
It's not,
and they got guys who want to coach there in that program. And, you know, it's going to come down to Nick Humphrey and Brett Maurer making sure that they're able to parlay the system that was successful for them last season into next season when they're going to need it probably even more. Do I think they're going about it the right way? No. But this specific situation, I'm not freaking out about it. Something we can't freak out about is people doing odd stuff. We're going to find out about that with the odd news with Josh Odd's son coming up next here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
To make midday here on 1620 The Zone, 1 o'clock, almost every day except for tomorrow, which is Wacky Guess Wednesday. We do the odd news at 1 o'clock. So, the odd news with Josh Odson. What's weird in the country or other countries today, Josh Odson?
Well, yesterday when I was compiling my stories, I remember something happening over the weekend. It was very obvious, and I couldn't remember what it was, so I didn't do it yesterday. We're going to do it today. The story that had the boxing world talking over the weekend.
Yes.
Heavyweight contender Jarrell Big Baby Miller delivered something new Saturday night with a viral moment during his split decision win over, forgive me, Kingsley Ibea.
Okay.
At New York's Madison Square Garden, world's most famous arena. Miller had promised a knockout.
Are you paid by MSG to make sure that tagline is there?
Well, you know, Creighton Blue Jays play at Madison Square Garden quite a few times each and every year, and as you know, we're all in the pockets of Creighton, so
Fair enough.
gotta deliver the tagline on the end. Miller had promised a knockout during Saturday's undercard bout, but delivered a different kind of highlight in round 2 when Iba's right uppercut knocked the hairpiece off of Miller's head. Fans were stunned as Miller's toupee lifted off the top of his head, and it fell off in the most comical way possible. It didn't just fly off of his head and land on the mat. It flipped up like it was caught in an updraft.
Yes.
Like just the most comical way for a toupee to fall off, in my opinion.
I wish we had a picture of how funny, because it was still
a better producer would have prepared a photograph.
it's still kind of stuck, like it was still kind of stuck to the back of his head.
It was like a hinge.
Like it didn't fully fly off. Like it very much was holding on for dear life, you know? And so one of those things where I feel bad for the guy, but you know what? I'm not going to shame people for having a toupee. Okay? I'm not.
I have some questions
Go
about
ahead.
why you would box with the toupee
I'm
on,
pretty
not
sure-
secure it better, things like that. But if you feel the need to have one, that's fine. You're not hurting anyone.
Wouldn't we get a little suspicious though if he like fully shaved his head? Like, so let's say he took the toupee off and then fully shaved his head and he was bald for the fight, and then like all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, he's just got a full head of hair.
Yeah, people would talk, but
Hey, wait. Do you think he's got, like, people have multiple toupees to mimic hair growth? Like you have a toupee.
Like a toupee system.
That's a little bit taller than the one before it, and a little bit taller than the one before it, and a little bit taller than the one before it. So you keep switching out the toupees to mimic, like, oh, my hair is growing. If you're a rich boxer, I think you'd have like a toupee collection, you know. Hey, this toupee is just a couple, centimeters taller than the next one. And then you just progress and you progress and you progress. See, I just solved the problem, the answer to my own question. Because you can't fully shave your head and then put the toupee back on the next day.
I mean, that would be the way to do it, but it would be very expensive if you had phases of hair growth toupee.
And very meticulous. I don't think I'd want to go through all that work. I think I'd just keep the toupee on.
Definitely. This Miller guy ripped his toupee off before the start of round 3, threw it into the first row.
I
where
love that.
WBO heavyweight champion Fabio Wardley caught it and
Nice.
sat it next to his chair.
I credit a man for wearing a toupee. Should not be shamed about it.
Sure.
Okay? And not everybody wants to go all the way out to Turkey,
Right.
and get the hair transplant and spend all that money. And not everybody wants to be like, Brian Urlacher and wear a hat for an extended period of time.
Now, Miller said he got a hairpiece after he lost his hair 2 days ago when he said he mistakenly used ammonia bleach instead of shampoo to wash his hair.
Oh.
He said, I'm a comedian. You have to make fun of yourself.
Good man. All right, next story.
McDonald's hoping to give you a big dub on Valentine's Day with their latest promotion. You can get caviar. That's right.
No.
Caviar.
No, lose me.
McDonald's.
Nope, lost me.
Hopping
No.
on the viral food trend,
No way.
chicken nuggets and caviar.
No way.
While supplies last, McDonald's is offering a McNugget caviar kit. You can get it online. The viral dish was served at the U.S. Open last August. New York-based Korean-inspired fried chicken restaurant. I don't know how to pronounce that. I apologize. 6 nuggets topped with caviar, creme fraiche, and chives at the tennis championship for $100. So now McDonald's is doing it.
Okay. No.
You don't like that, huh?
No. Why would I like that? They're a fast food company. They shouldn't be serving caviar. You trust McDonald's
Would
to
not
handle caviar properly?
Correct. Would not. You're supposed to eat it with a golden spoon, right?
And by the way, you trust McDonald's to spend money to get high quality caviar to make it affordable? You think McDonald's is just going to go ahead and for the jokes lose money on this? Hell no. If you want caviar, go to a fancy restaurant. There are some things that you shouldn't cheap out on. There's some things where it's like, if you want it, you're going to have to pay the big bucks for it. Okay? Caviar, don't cheap out on caviar. Don't cheap out on a snowblower. Got to get a good snowblower. Got to make sure that thing lasts a while.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Don't cheap out on a grill. Grills are expensive. Get a Weber. That thing will last you forever. Just get a Weber. And it gets broken and it still fires up and it's great and it sears your meats. Okay? That's another thing you don't cheap out on.
Finally, story number 3. Not for the kiddos.
Oh no.
They should be in school, but just in case they're not, we do like to give a little warning on the front end.
Yeah. You know what? That would be cool if there was a guy listening to the show in high school right now. Like I used to listen to shows in high school. That'd be
cool.
Cool.
High schoolers will find this funny.
You know what?
It's the wee children that
you're
should
in high
not be
school
listening.
right now and you're listening to Middays with Matt. You rock.
Yeah.
You rock. You're awesome.
You've got life figured out.
I don't know if I doubt that that's the case, but if you do, man, you're awesome. Good for you. Shout out you if you're listening.
A hospital in France, yes, an entire hospital was evacuated.
Oh no!
After a male patient arrived with a World War I artillery shell lodged in his rectum.
That's a nice way of putting it.
According to the report, an unnamed 24-year-old had been rushed to the emergency unit late Saturday night. The poor fellow was in a state of extreme discomfort.
Yeah. No duh. Okay.
Surgeons conducted emergency surgery during which they discovered the shocking source of his pain, a live 8-inch bombshell from 1918 that was lodged inside of him. Fearing a potential fire in the hole and hospital, medical personnel alerted the bomb squad and fire brigade, and evacuated the facility. Meanwhile, a security perimeter was formed around the medical center as the authorities investigated the explosive situation.
Stop it.
Fortunately,
stop it with the puns.
I'm just reading the article.
This is not a pun story.
Just reading the article. Fortunately, the ammunition, which was pointed on one end and over an inch wide, was not deemed a threat. Bomb disposal experts took the shell with them while the patient remained at the hospital so he could recover. Everybody's fine.
Look,
nothing to see here, folks.
Everybody's got kinks. Okay.
Platcat says this might be the line where we actually have to kink shame.
Everybody's got kinks. Okay. Everybody's got something, that rows their boat, if you will. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got a different type of paddle.
That's right.
All right. But if your kink involves public safety and specifically compromising public safety and specifically the wasting of tax dollars, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should get a new kink.
Now, this is in France, so I don't really care about their tax dollars.
Who cares about their tax dollars? Whatever. Maybe it's time for...
It's probably all free anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, it's not as if we're in a shortage of things that are 8 inches long and 1 inch wide.
I don't know.
That's a very accessible. First off, also too,
where do you get the ammunition?
Thank you.
And then make the intellectual leap of
I'm gonna put
You
this
know
in
what?
my
I bet I could.
I bet I could. I bet I could. Kenneth goes, new definition of dropping bombs.
Dropping bombs.
Which, by the way, like a World War II, you know, that's expensive. Like that's a collector's item. Right? That thing is 80 years old. Do you think that's the first butt it's been in?
Definitely.
No, it's
I hope.
Run 65 Bears goes, that sex was the bomb.
TC, no, TC. We got to be careful here. Everybody's a little bit nervous.
Pete Rose is here with us. That was the reference. We're all a little nervous.
Yeah.
That was the reference.
Look at you.
Gotta be careful there. I saw Frank Solich. I talked to him at a Taco John. Don't ask me how I remember these things.
Where he got explosive diarrhea.
Okay, Kenneth now is asking the wrong questions. It does not matter what side the artillery came from. Oh, you think it does? Do you think there's a hidden meaning within? Okay, if it was a good guy artillery and a bad guy artillery, what's the difference?
I'm willing to guess.
You know,
got to be careful here.
That's one way to tell the Axis powers to shove it up there.
That's the odd news.
With Josh Hodson. Hell yeah. That was something. Jay, all right, now we got, it's funny. We get the most comments on.
Oh, nobody wants to comment on the new look Utah Jazz.
No, but they all want to comment about somebody sticking World War II artillery up there. You know what?
Yeah.
By the way, Dylan Berriman. That's a hell of a segue. The 4-star defensive lineman, the class of 2026, one of the best still available 2026 recruits in college football, is committing tomorrow at 10:30. So we will have it here live on the show.
Whoa.
Of where Dylan Berriman is committing to go. Seems like he's going to be Nebraska. Seems like that's where we're headed.
You ready to have him McMaster bomb?
Coming up next, we rank the commissioners here on 1620.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Shout out to Nebraska women's basketball signee Ashlyn Cooper on
Whoa.
earning one of the 24 roster spots for the McDonald's High School All-American game ahead of the NCAA Women's Final Four.
Give her some caviar with this.
Yeah, why not? She 6'3" senior from Wagner, South Dakota. She's the first McDonald's All-American for women's basketball in school history. So congratulations to Ashlyn. Big game tomorrow for Nebraska women's basketball. They take on Michigan on the road. Michigan ranked 8th in the country. Huskers still looking for a ranked win this season, despite the fact, though, that they are a good team. Nebraska women's basketball is good. They competed against.
Seems like every day they're playing a top 10 team.
I know. Big Ten. Well, I can't. I'm not going to act as if I'm a expert on women's basketball here, but seems like, Michigan State's ranked in the top 25. UCLA was ranked in the top 25. Ohio State was ranked in the top 25. Michigan ranked in the top 25. Iowa was 14th. USC was 17th. Like, they've played some top teams. They played USC and Iowa pretty close, but they have not beaten a ranked team this season. Lost by 2 to number 15 Michigan. Lost by 19 to number 11 Ohio State on the road. They go ahead and they play Michigan tomorrow in a top 10, well, not top 10 matchup, but against the top 10 team in the Wolverines. We go to the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. 402-951-1620 is the number if you want to get in on the conversation. Bad takes, Doug. Doug, I think it's the first time you've called into the show. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Yeah, very good. Hey, I love the show.
Thank you.
Great takes, everything. But so I'll give you mine. Then I want to hear what your spread is like for Super Bowl. I'm doing pulled pork sliders.
Nice.
I got a charcuterie board.
Ooh.
And I'll have a cooler full of Miller Lite, which is my favorite, and then also some seltzers for those people, whoever they are. And then yeah, and then I'm asking people to bring something to share.
Yeah, I like that. I like that play from you. I like that play from you, Doug.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. First off, can I get an invite? That sounds awesome. First off, pulled pork slice. So you're smoking the pulled pork?
Yeah.
Nice.
I got
all right.
Pork butts are on sale right now, so I got 20 pounds.
Oh wow! All right,
pork butt.
Nice.
And I like crumbled bacon on mine. I cook up some bacon and I crumble it so you can add that to your top, add to the top. So,
okay.
And jalapenos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Like spicy.
So pulled pork sliders. I think sliders is one of the best things that you can have for a catering, because you can make so many of them, and you can, it's not a big burger, right? You can have one, you can have two, you can limit yourself, you can pace yourself throughout the game. I think that's a pro play by you. Now the charcuterie board. Let's get into this. What's the cheese? Do you have a fruit on there? What's the acidity looking like? Are we doing salami, pepperoni? Do we have a vision yet here for the charcuterie?
I'm turning that over to my daughter.
Okay, I like that. It's a good play.
Age lady
Good play.
She's the expert there. So I said, hey, make it. Yeah, I need some fruit, some cheese,
gherkins. Get those those tiny little dill pickles. Right, adds good acidity to it. You're on.
I like olives.
Olives are good too. Green olives or black olives on your charcuterie board, Doug? Do you have a take?
I like green olives.
Me too.
I do.
I like that.
But I don't discriminate.
Yeah.
I like all kinds of olives.
Now, how do you feel about the person who is going to say to you, hey, Doug, I'm going to bring the paper plates and paper towels and forks and plasticware. Is that acceptable to your Super Bowl party?
As long as I know ahead of time.
Okay.
As long as I know ahead of time. I don't want everyone bringing paper plates, napkins, and solo cups or something.
I like that.
Let me know ahead of time. Then I can tell the other people don't bring that because we got that.
We got that. So. Great call. I'm gonna disappoint you here. I'm not making a spread here for the Super Bowl. I am not. I'm going to a bar a bar that I go to has a really good deal, $25 to get free drinks and free food. And it's really close to my apartment. So I got a couple buddies. We all bought it for $25. So we're going there. And, I've just been cooking so much for the football season. I wanted a little break,
Solid. No, I've said this before. I'm a big Patriots fan since I was a little kid.
Hell yeah, Doug.
And, I'm super stoked. So of course I had to have the party at my house, and I'll have 3 different TVs set up around the kitchen and the living room so people can mill about, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be epic, and hopefully Drake May can hopefully his shoulders are covered. He's gonna do good.
Yeah,
so that's my goal.
Well, good luck, my friend. Thank you for calling the show. It seems like you're gonna have a great party.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, dudes.
God.
I know this didn't go well last time, Matt.
Come on.
Shams Charania has another NBA trade. This one involving the Chicago Bulls this time. It's a 3-teamer. So calm down. It gets a little complicated.
I think I know. Okay, go ahead.
This deal sends Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. to the Bulls.
Oh, I like Jaden Ivey. Okay.
And Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric that's what I said, to the Pistons.
Okay.
Detroit also receives a first-round protected swap from Minnesota.
Oh. Okay, and what is Minnesota getting? Are they trading Mike Conley for a first-round pick?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Herder an expiring deal. Jaden Ivey.
Does this make room for Freaky Greeky?
For who?
For you and your Chicago
Bulls. It might
Bulls.
make room for Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
Jaden Ivey, the former Purdue Boilermaker, who I was very high on coming into the draft. It's one of those things, though, where you already kind of got a plethora of guards that are playing for Detroit, playing better than Jaden Ivey is. He is in what? It's got to be his fourth year in the league. Yeah, it's his fourth year in the league. He's 23 years old, averaging. I don't think he's averaging that much this season. 8 points. Now, he averaged 17 points last year. So his role is, very mightily decreased when the Detroit Pistons have gotten better. Bulls definitely in the process of kind of just taking shots in the dark and trying to develop prospects that maybe haven't panned out to be as great as they were in other teams. To be fair, though, they've done a fairly decent job at that. If they've done anything well, the Bulls actually have traded for some guys and they've developed into something. Unfortunately, none of them have been superstars. I think this is kind of the Bulls making deals because what? They're getting Ivy and Mike Conley Jr. I don't know if this makes more space for the Bulls than it does the Timberwolves. So we will see. I will say this. I would be disappointed if Giannis were to go to Minnesota, but Anthony Edwards and Giannis Antetokounmpo would make one hell of a 1-2 punch.
I would like to watch that team play basketball. That would be fun.
Let's do this real quick.
Okay.
Roger Goodell talked yesterday. Yeah. So Sam just tweeted at us, right? Yeah. So Sam, shout out Sam. He just tweeted at us that there was an article written about maybe Minnesota trading some guys in order to make room for Giannis. I think that's my first read here. I think this, we got to look at the FanDuel odds and the DraftKings odds now. Damn it. And the Bulls contributing to this is such a Bulls thing to do, by the way, to help Minnesota get the guy that everybody wants them to get. Okay. Let's rank the commissioners.
Okay.
A couple of things here from Goodell's State of the Union press conference yesterday. 9 international games will take place next year. Barf.
It's too many, but enjoy the number while it's less than 10.
And then he tried to be like, some of these players, they claim that they love the international games because they're ambassadors. No, they don't.
Couldn't possibly.
Stop lying. 18-game season is something he brought up. He didn't say it was a guarantee. And 2 buys. Okay, let's talk about this. 16 games was perfect. 16 games with 1 bye was perfect. It was ideal. It was awesome. Okay? Part of the reason why, football is just better than basketball, and it's just better than baseball, and it's just better. Most people would agree it's better than hockey. Okay? But part of the reason why, along with it just being better than all the other sports, that it's so popular is because the games matter just so much more than any other league, right? When you played 16 games, every game, the games that played were in September would counted toward January, right? It just, every game meant a ton to you. Especially college football is the same way because you're playing 12 games. Every game meant so much when it was 16 games. When they added the 17th game, you're like, okay, whatever. This is kind of annoying. It's no big deal. We don't have the even 8-8, 9-7 anymore. It is what it is. Okay. 18 games. It's that's the max. That's the most I'm going to do. But still, it's the more games you add, I understand you're adding revenue, but you're making the other game, you can now slip up more. And that's kind of fun about the NFL, where it's there's so much pressure on each and every game because there's not that many. I hope they don't go to 18. They probably will. Just no more than 18. If it's 18, we're done.
18 and every team plays one international game.
God, stop it. Stop it. And then he mentioned 2 buys for the playoffs, which, no. You know why I say no to 2 buys for the playoffs, Josh Hodson?
I kind of like the one.
No, I don't.
It's a weird bracket, but I kind of like.
I hate it.
Oh,
I hate that there's not 2 buys.
And you hate that there's not 2 buys.
Listen to me. Listen. I hate that there's not 2 buys anymore in the league. But what I would hate more than having 2 buys is having 8 football teams in each conference make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't want that.
So if you go to 2 buys, you have to add another team, right? When you have to add, you would have to do some sort. You probably have to add an 8th team or something like that. Or I don't know what that. Can you do? You can't do 7 teams in 2 buys. Not mathematically, because you have 5 teams then.
Not without having a weirdo like West Coast Conference basketball tournament bracket.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, one team double bye. I'm sure there's a way. You'd confuse your audience.
I hate it. When it was 16 games, we had 2 buys with only 12 teams. It was perfect. It was perfect. Down to the last minute detail. It was perfect. Yeah. It was great. Bring back playoff spots mattering and not handing them out like they're a bunch of participation trophies at the Y.
I feel like the last 2 seasons we've been dangerously close to not a single game mattering in the last week of the season.
We're treating playoff spots in America like they're medals at the CYO basketball games. Stop handing them out. Limit them. Jeez, man. I don't get this. Adding more participation trophies. Stupid. All right, best commissioners in sports.
All right, you want to go? You want each? We both give our 4, then we both give our 3, then we both give our 2, then we both give our 1. You want to do it that way?
Perfect.
Okay.
Number 4, Adam Silver.
That's who I have as number 4.
He sucks. Spineless, fearful.
Gave everything to the players.
Everything to the players.
I'm a pro player guy, and this guy has tanked his league by just letting them do whatever they want.
Has allowed them to run roughshod over the league, say whatever the hell that they want.
To where the games don't matter until April or May.
No participation. Everybody goes, well, it's so likable. The NBA is so unlikable. Because you have a bunch of millionaires who just whine and complain all the time, and they're not told, hey, dude, shut up. Stop. Don't flash a gun at the camera, Ja Morant. We're going to suspend your ass for the whole season.
No, a bazooka's not a gun.
Dude, the reason why the NBA worked in David Stern's NBA was because David Stern played no games. And that's how you have to act. And he's spineless, and he hasn't acted that way. All right, number 3. 3, 2, 1. Gary Bettman.
Rob Manfred.
Ooh, okay. I put I put Bettman 3 because more people need to care about your sport for you to be an impactful commissioner.
Okay,
not enough people care about hockey in America.
Gary Bettman likes hockey. I don't think Rob Manfred likes baseball.
Okay, so let's say our 2. 3, 2, 1. Manfred.
Bettman.
Okay. See, I put Manfred 2 because I actually kind of like the things they've done in the MLB.
Which you are the person he's targeting.
Rob Manfred.
Like, hey, we got him, but we're kind of losing him.
Was in charge of a sport that was, in a way, archaic.
That's fair. I disagree, but yes. You're 20, whatever. Yes.
Too many people thought it took too long. Too many people got bored. Too many people didn't like the pitching changes. They didn't like the time in between pitches. They didn't like going to the ballpark at 1:00 and not being able to go out to the bars until 5:30. They didn't find it interesting. It wasn't fast paced enough. Like, there were too many people who believed that, and he was losing the younger audience. And I know that there are a lot of people like you, Josh Hodson, who their eyes could not be rolled farther in the back of their heads right now because they loved baseball the way that baseball was, and it wasn't that big of a deal for them. But the numbers and analytics and statistics showed you that you were losing the next generation of fans because your game took too long.
I'll say this. I love the pitch clock.
Yeah.
I love the pitch clock.
And Rob Manfred looked at a sport that was falling behind in the times and that was very rooted in what they were and not modern enough and took a big leap. I admire Rob. I think Rob Manfred screwed up COVID and screwed up the Houston Astros thing. And And that will always be on his resume, and that will always be a black mark. But at the same time, he did things that I'm sure were really tough to do, and he changed a sport that people didn't want to see changing. And here we are. Baseball's growing. Baseball's growing. Baseball's getting better. I understand what you're saying though. With I don't know if he loves baseball. Maybe he just likes money more. But at the same time, the MLB is progressing, and it's because of he was willing to take those leap and make those changes. So I admire him for that. All right, our number one commissioner is
Roger Goodell.
What, dude? If we did this list 10 years ago, it might be completely flip flop.
Yeah.
It might be completely turned around. I might have gone Silver, Bettman, Manfred, Goodell.
Yeah, Silver came in and I was like, ooh, player guy.
Yeah.
League's shifting that way. He's open to some gambling
Yeah.
things. Like, okay, sure.
We're being a little revolutionary here. Hey, we needed a shakeup. We needed a younger guy. No, not anymore. Goodell is just taking advantage of already the biggest sport booming to a point that we didn't even know it could boom to anymore. And, I don't know if
just incrementally making more money, not like, hey, what's something zany we can do to like get a quick influx of cash? No, very gradually taking what the defense gives them. Yeah, absolutely.
Because the product, he hasn't had to do anything to the product. The product has just naturally become more popular. And what he's done is taken advantage of more money that they've made and strategically just capitalized off of momentum. Hey, Amazon Prime, give us your money. Thank you. You're welcome. Netflix, hey, give us your money. Thank you. You're welcome. Hey, ESPN, you want to disseminate more of our NFL products to your, okay, we'll take 10% equity from you. Thank you. Hey,
gosh, what if we could sell 4 games a la carte to a network that doesn't have football, but is desperate to have football?
What if we can get every single major television network in on our products, so now they're cross-promoting other networks to promote us?
Yeah.
So now you have Fox going, don't forget to catch the game on NBC.
Yep.
And you got ESPN saying, don't forget to catch the game on Fox.
Genuinely love that. No sarcasm.
Seriously. And he has
NBA tries to do this, like, hey, here's what's coming up on the calendar, like, but NFL does this the best.
And they have to. They have to. And so he's just allowing people to eat out the palm of his hand. And they go, all right, Christmas, we'll take it. Thank you. Move on. Done a great job. Dude who's done a great job today? Josh Hodson. He's going to tell us what to watch tonight. Coming up next here, and our final segment of Tuesday's episode of Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt closing out here on a Tuesday. Andy Katz just dropped his newest bracket prediction on Twitter. He has Nebraska as a 2 seed in Oklahoma City taking on Portland State. The other game going on in that bracket, St. Louis versus Miami.
Switch Miami.
Miami, the Hurricanes.
You.
St. Louis might be a tough game.
Yeah.
That would be a really tough game. All right, Josh Hudson, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching what little college basketball is being offered to us. Xavier against number 3 UConn, 6 o'clock on Peacock. Rutgers at UCLA, 8:30 on BTN, and Indiana USC at 9 o'clock on Peacock. NBA doubleheader tonight, Celtics Mavericks, 7 o'clock on NBC, and then Suns Blazers at 10 o'clock on Peacock. And an NHL doubleheader on TNT, Penguins Islanders at 6:30, and then Kraken Ducks at 9 o'clock. The Pro Bowl games are tonight. Don't watch this. They'll keep doing it if you watch it. Please stop. But if you would like to, it's at 7 o'clock on ESPN and, of course, Disney XD.
What?
Disney XD is airing the Pro Bowl.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
And then 6:30 on FS1, it is the final night of the 2026 Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show, which is a perfect segue into the Dog of the Day.
Dog of the Day tonight, Orlando Magic at Oklahoma City. The
Thunder are very good.
The Thunder are very good, but they haven't been the unstoppable force like they have been the last couple of months. I mean, just they're still teetering, just not teetering, but they're just not, and they haven't been as dominant as they were to begin the year. Orlando went on a bad losing streak back in January, but it seems like they have found their stride once again. So I'll go with the Orlando Magic with a pretty decent upset over the Oklahoma City Thunder.
This is to win or to cover?
To win.
Okay.
They're going to win. By the way, Holy Cross did not win yesterday against Boston.
Now you didn't have much confidence in
I did not. This one I have a pretty decent amount of confidence.
Hello.
2+250 or the Magic to win tonight against Oklahoma City. Thank you for listening to Middays with Matt. I've been Matt McMaster. That's Josh Odds, and the crossover with USC is up next.